somebody from Strongman like talks to me about it, and they're like, "Dude, why aren't you doing Strongman anymore?" I'm like, "Bro, easy, because people are really goddamn strong." And I had an advantage that none of them had at the time I was doing really well at Strongman. Like I'm kind of strong. I can hold my own. But the tactical advantage that I had training on equipment.
That's it.
Dude, was huge.
Yeah, the fact that you were here, right? Like
I was in St.
Dion,
Louis. Dion and Willie lived here, and they had equipment. Like
right.
I literally trained on the equipment that I ended up eventually getting my pro card on.
Right, because there was only like one set of stuff.
Dude, there was only like 2 sets of full-blown contest equipment in the entire country, and one of them happened to be in St. Louis. Like, I'm not so blind to see like this is
but
the stars
also
lining
like
up.
you've got some pretty fucking gnarly strengths.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
like
fine.
you're stronger than average.
Definitely that.
But I mean, I would say a bit of the John Paul Sigmarsson, if you will, of the U.S. 105 strongman category. And what I mean by that is, well, Kaz always referred to John Paul as paper champion, right? Like that John Paul got to train on the equipment in Scotland, living with Dougie, and what an advantage it was, especially then.
Oh yeah,
because there wasn't equipment.
No one had
anything.
No one had anything. They were holding like dumbbells in a neutral position to simulate using like a log press. Like, all right, guys, like it's totally different. But
like one of my favorite stories.
I'll see you on Saturday. That's gonna work great.
Talking to that mutant Kaz.
Yeah.
Was the first year they had that log. They're standing it vertically, and then they rock it over to their lap and then go up. And so like, man, why would you stand it vertically? No one's ever done that. And like Kaz's response to me, this was like up in Alaska for the world championships for Highland Games. He's up there. And so I'm like, why would y'all do that? And he's like, first 2 guys picked it off the ground, tore their hamstrings. We figured that wasn't right.
This can't be a right answer.
I'm not going in that way. If I tear mine, I'm just an idiot.
Yeah. Not after those first 2 idiots did it. No, sir.
So dude, how's life? How are you? What have you been up to?
Man, it's you're catching me on a weird day.
That's what I understand.
Yeah. I am in town for a funeral of a friend of mine that actually got me into powerlifting.
Okay.
So this was like a mentor of mine. He's only 56.
Okay.
So like he died pretty young, but like, man, his name's Rob Colber, was Rob Colber. Assistant police chief in Woodson Terrace. I mean, just a pretty prominent figure in powerlifting in the Midwest. A lot of people know him from equipped powerlifting. So, and this is, again, like we're talking about strongman and stuff. I know you dabbled a little bit in equipped powerlifting at a time. And
enough to know the world.
Enough to know how long some of those sessions are. Like, dude, training with Gary, tell me, like, on a Saturday when you guys did...
it was like a 5 or 6 hour squat session.
Who understands... Unless you did that, no one knows what that's like. No one
and
knows.
It's such a weird thing. You basically take a set an hour.
Yes.
Give or take. Like, if you've got 5 dudes...
Yeah.
Easily you're taking 30 minutes between reps.
Well, you've got 2 knee wraps that you have to roll up and wrap yourself.
Also, we took off basically everything between every rep. Like, we didn't walk around in our fucking bench shirts with zombie arms the whole time.
You didn't?
No, we're not hanging out in there like that.
Yep.
I went to a different gym and they did it, and we're like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Why are you guys wearing bench shirts all day?
Take them off. Weird. Put it back on the next rep.
Yeah. But yeah, he significantly impacted my life, and I was compelled to come up here and honor, his life on the last day that the majority of his family and friends would be together and remember him. And
right on, man.
Thinking about him, and like I mentioned to you, it dawned on me while I was driving up here, just how I think I truly missed an opportunity to tell him how much he did positively influence me. And I regret not telling him that. Not that he would have even given me credit or given him,
but it doesn't matter.
Right. He not giving me credit. Not that he would have even accepted the credit that I was going to try to give him, but truly, whether it was intentional or not, he was a leader, and he led a lot of people around him to be more committed into whatever they were passionate about. And that is a really rare quality that I think only a few people have, and even fewer are conscious of it.
I think that makes sense, right? Like, I mean, the type of guy, right, like that, this guy that leads groups of lifters and power lifters and kind of does that on his side thing. Gary did that. Had a lot of people that he lifted with and those type of stuff. And I think you're right. Like, I think it's a different thing, right, to have those type of leaders, because this isn't like at a job. Like, everyone with this group has chose to be there. And so there's no obligation to it. There's no hierarchy put in place by anything other than just the nature of the world that everyone's training at. And there is usually someone in that group who has the gravity.
A lot of times I think it aligns with who has the most weight on the bar with like powerlifting groups, right? And it's not always, are they the smartest? Are they the best lifter? Is it that they're the best lifter because they've developed themselves so much through the pursuit of strength that they have that credibility with other lifters and can lead them to the point in their career that those other lifters are wanting to get to? I don't know. Like there's
definitely something within that world that the leaders need to have taken a beating. Like I need to know that you've been there, that you've been through injuries, that you've been hurt, that you've prepped for meets, that you've made weight, that you've done all these things that are all the parts of this game. And especially then, right? Like it is a different time, and it's really odd to talk about that, but I do think it's really important to talk about prior to social media when people are doing this.
And that's another big thing.
Because there isn't a reward out there. There's definitely not one you can convince yourself of.
Yes. The extrinsic reward that I think people get every day now, just from posting up, a video or a picture of a lift, versus the intrinsic reward of 15 years ago, where people would just, and man, that's not even true either, because people would get on the forums 15 years ago and they would talk to.
We had different ways to do it, right? But you can make a living as a lifter now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
not possible
can do it.
15 years ago.
Impossible.
Yeah.
This job doesn't exist. The YouTube side of it doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist.
Right.
And so there is a different thing in the, like, going into that now and deciding you want to lift or commit to lifting or power lift or whatever the thing is, you can't not know that avenue exists. Whereas when we all got into it, it just didn't. There wasn't a reason to be into this.
Other than
that's the thing.
Yeah. Other than just
curious of strength.
Yeah. It's a fun way to train. And a lot of us had that, that desire to just get in the weight room and lift. And, we gravitated to one sport or another, whether it's strongman or powerlifting or Highland Games. Objective measurement of these, of performance drew us to these, that logical progression that you can track and it's quantifiable. You can see like, oh, for sure, in 6 months, this is the marked progress I've made.
Yeah, and the big carryover that translated to all of us through any of the strength sports was that it takes a long time.
Yes, you're not just going to buy it, and it didn't matter who your parents were. It
doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't matter how much money you have.
Equalizer.
It's just you have to show up, you have to put the work in, and based on the hand you're dealt with, genetics and everything like that, all the other variables that you can control are probably going to dictate the majority of the outcome.
For sure they are.
Yeah.
For sure they are. I mean, look, this is by far and away the nicest facility I've ever had access to. This is not the strongest I've ever been.
Yeah.
I've been plenty strong training on dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I could at that time, that's where most of my effort and energy was getting focused. And yeah, it was just this honest pursuit of it. the pursuit of strength and that challenge and like, fuck, what can I do? And like maybe there was some genetic gift toward it. You know, I mean, I did lean into, you know, this and not, I don't know, wanting to be a horse jockey.
I don't think you have the
that's what I'm saying, right?
Like, anthropometrics for
yeah,
that.
I wasn't trying to go to the NBA and play basketball, like,
right.
But no, I do think it's really interesting, these hard pursuits that people take on simply because they're hard.
It definitely attracts people that I think thrive with the challenge, regardless of the challenge, regardless of what it is. A lot of it is that just the challenge alone is what draws them to it. Like whether it's the Rubik's Cube or chess or whatever hobby you're talking about, it is a path of mastery that you have to enjoy the boring periods.
Because there is no there.
Never.
Right.
You're never going to get to an end destination with
no, it's such
training.
a joke.
Yeah, it's not. You're never going to reach it. There's always another 5 pounds.
Right, and realizing that essentially, you know, especially I don't compete in anything anymore. So now the training really is this GPP for the rest of my life. Like I want to be fit to be able to say yes to awesome experiences. I want to be in shape enough to be able to like, oh yeah, I can go do that. Like that just gives me more options of if my stupid brain says, let's go trek and try to climb Kilimanjaro, I can put together a plan and do that.
But your training sessions don't matter any less.
Nope.
Not
They're
any
still
less.
just as important.
Right. Man, the value that I've gained in my life from that lesson at such an early age, at like 15, 16, whenever I was exposed to that, man, I got pulled out of the matrix at 16.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like
a little bit. Like, because I definitely didn't get pulled out. Like it wasn't as crazy a change in my life finding lifting, but I also had just immediately found it for football and my brother had already done it. So like none of this, it was just, that was the course.
Yeah.
That you start lifting at 13 or 14 for get better at sports.
Because Andy did it. And
yeah.
that's what
that's what
men do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your dad, labor worker, working hard. This is what men do. Andy did it. I'm going to do it too.
This makes me better at sports. Sports are probably the route I'm going.
Got it. Yeah.
Man, so you had a very different kind of experience with it, I guess.
Man, I did. I guess I grew up because of, I had 2 parents that were both self-made and are very successful. Like my mom put herself through law school, went to WashU and has been a successful attorney for, 4 decades. My dad moved here. He immigrated from Italy in the 70s. He literally moved to another country and learned multiple languages and ran a business for 3 decades. Okay. And is now making, he literally keeps his bills paid by creating paintings and selling them online. That's what these are talented, high achieving people.
Yeah.
And I was, I grew up in this environment, around these 2 high achievers, a little bit. I don't know if I was resentful or what, but I guess I just grew up with a chip on my shoulder about none of what I have is deserved. Like none of what I was given.
You just mean like the advantages you've got in life.
Correct. Yeah. And I always had this sense of like, I have to do something. Like both of these people, pulled themselves up and created something out of much less situations than what I'm being given. And I felt a lot of pressure from that. And truly, like, I just pissed my way through school. I could care less about high school. I barely got out of high school I didn't even graduate high school.
No, right. You got expelled.
I got expelled.
I remember
remember
that, right? Because I remember there were a few, oddly enough, right? Like, so Brant, this whole goes back far enough that, like, so when I'm doing strongman and just getting into Highland Games, like I'm still now traveling and doing outside sales. And so one of the ways I would make trips work out so that they were cheaper and I could train places is I would stay at friends' houses. I would fucking on the road stay at Max's mom's house up in Alton and like train there for a few days and then move on. Because he had a great garage gym set up. And like
had plenty of gravity. It had plenty of gravity there.
And so like we've been doing it, like I'm sleeping on a couch, like at his mom's house.
Okay.
Right. Like, so this.
And you were what, 26, 25?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fucking full adult.
But I wasn't, I was probably 16, 17 and actively competing in a sport. So like I would see you once, twice a year.
Yeah,
and
at least.
Yeah. And it wasn't just like, it wasn't just like by happen chance. Like in Dallas,
no, we chose to hang out.
Yeah, exactly. We enjoyed each other's company.
Absolutely.
And you're like, hey man, I come through St. Louis, frequently. Like I'd love to train with you whenever I
would
come
always
through.
Stay there anytime I had work.
Exactly.
And never stay at a hotel.
Right. Yeah. It's not like you're making it sound weird. Like you're just like imposing on some 16-year-old. Let me stay at your house.
No. I was invited and we'd known each other. Yeah. Shit.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. No. It wasn't
we'd known each
imposition
other
at all.
through a couple strongman things and training.
Right.
And then, because I was coming up to train and you had a spot and had a basement essentially that I slept in.
Plenty of space.
Yeah.
Plenty of space.
Now that I understand basements.
Yes. Yeah. Basements are great.
Oh, yeah,
Pretty cool.
You didn't have one of those.
Not from
forget
Louisiana.
that. I always forget that.
No, man, you can't have enough fill with water and alligators.
Why do you want a whole room for water and alligators in your house?
Hey, you only need a backyard for it.
Fuck all that.
Not an underground pit.
No, sir.
So going through all that. So you start kind of realizing that you need a thing.
I wasn't actively seeking it. I think it's just naturally, what teenagers do. They, kind of dabble in this and dabble in that until you find like your fit.
Or should.
They should. Yeah, right. I mean, that's just, it is the most appropriate time, I think, in a young man's life.
I think that in college.
Yeah.
That's really what it's fucking for. You're not an adult yet.
Right. Yeah.
It's just a holding
15
pen.
to 20, 15 to 25. Like you're figuring out
You're almost 30.
Who you're going to be. We could get into Jesus age right there. Like, I'm 30, guys. I'm going to move out now.
It's a good time.
Change the world. But I had a natural affinity towards it. I enjoyed training. I just got exposed to it from, high school wrestling and really got into it. And then started competing because I just, again, naturally kind of gravitated towards wanting to see like, oh, where do I stack up?
And it was such a new thing.
Yeah.
And it was very much at a time that this was like one of those first things that I remember getting to experience of like, I've seen this on TV and I've always fucking wondered what this was like. And now I'm getting to do it.
Right. It's surreal.
Yeah.
It really is when you first start getting into it. At least it was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, sure shit was for me. Like I said, we had to build all of our own equipment, scrap them together.
Yep. And, through that pursuit of knowledge, I met Rob, and Rob mentored me and coached me on, form and technique and all that stuff. And just like basic programming, methodologies, like, hey, on the weeks that we're going up for a heavy double or heavy single, about 3 or 4 weeks out from the meet, like you can back off your gym training before that. There's a very rudimentary, like,
sure.
Oh, you were going to save a little bit.
But you gotta have a start
and then go hard on the weekend. We're going to get, figure out our openers and our seconds and stuff like that. So I got exposed to those fundamental principles from Rob and from that group of lifters here in St. Louis, training at just hole in the wall gyms and garage gyms and basements. And what I mean by getting pulled out of the matrix is this is the medium that showed me that I have agency in my life, that I have control over something. It might not be that significant to anyone else, but that one thing was enough of a momentum builder for me to drastically change the path of life that I was most likely on. So much so that I again, a horrible student in high school, could not have cared less, didn't even graduate because I got kicked out my senior year.
Did you get kicked out for doing donuts on the football field?
Exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did.
Nice work.
So
I'm glad I remember that. That's stored away.
Yeah, that one's there forever. That's permanent memory.
Fuck, I know.
Think about all the bits of information being wasted by that.
How many things Bonnie's mad about that I don't remember, and yet I know what you got expelled from high school for? Fuck, I'm carrying that around.
She's going to be jealous. Yeah. So it's again, the agency that I discovered that I had in my life, like just the control and how I can manipulate my environment around me, is what I mean by being pulled out of the matrix, like that metaphor. I'm a very good student in college. I became a great student in college because I wanted to be.
Well, you figured out the recipe to success. Right. And whether, and I talk about that a lot, but it's the same deal from the weight room, right? It's that show up and do the fucking work every day. The other part takes care of itself.
Yeah. Like for school, for me, it was just learning how to learn and then applying myself and memory recall. Like these things are not that hard. Like, most people are much smarter than they give themselves credit for. If you have a kid, 14, 15-year-old kid that thinks they're just a bad student, like, yeah, you're going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy if you keep that positive feedback loop of telling yourself, I'm a crappy student, and then you go and just don't care about the next test you have to take, and then you do horribly on it, right? It's just a constant loop that you're never going to get off, or you're never going to get out of.
And it's tricky, man, because like I look back at school, and I know I wasn't a good student, but I know that I'm smart enough I didn't have to do much to get by.
Right.
And I think about, had the tables been turned, and like if I had the same issues that I had with classes, with being bored, being those type of things, being disruptive, but I wasn't as smart, like I'd have really struggled.
I'm sure.
And so I think about kids that do. And a lot of it for me was, and I look at it now, it's like, fuck, man, my capacity to learn is great. Also, I have a great capacity to understand pretty big concepts.
Unquenchable. An unquenchable thirst for knowledge.
Yeah, but I couldn't then.
Yeah.
Couldn't focus on it.
Ever since I've known you, you always wanted to meet more people and learn from their experiences. The first time I met you, you were telling me about the drifta-lifta, like that's what you were going to do. You told me about that plan. Do you realize that you told me about that plan years before you started to execute that? You're like, man, I think I'm going to, just travel around and, train with these other people and start interviewing them and learn from them and, keep creating.
That's it.
That you made that content, and you're still, obviously, like, look at all this. You're making this content right now and you're still, whether you call it UMSO or Driftle, you're still Matt Vincent. Like, it's the same pursuit. You're enriching your own life through the experience of others and the knowledge that they've gained through their experiences and through their interactions and through their networks.
Yeah.
I would say that you've definitely been out of the matrix for quite some time.
I think so.
But a lot of people, I think it comes down to a lot of people don't even know that they have the possibility to have more control over.
No, I don't think most people do either. I think a lot of people, they don't realize there's no rules to it. And it seems like there are. It seems like there are some standard rules, that there is the graduate high school, we go to college, then going to college helps us get a degree, which helps us get a job. But probably somewhere during that time, we should have overlapped and started meeting a girl or a boy and then start a family. And then that's kind of next, right? Like that's the progression, into a job and into a career with set kind of functionality that you can attend these things on the weekends and you can do this and build this nice nuclear family that fits well within the puzzle. Or you can not.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to.
Kind of realizing I didn't have to. I wonder where I traced that moment back of like an actual realize. The first time I ever remembered that I didn't have to follow the plan was probably in high school. It was a coach. And I know he had no fucking intentions of making this this
That's
meaningful,
the best,
right? Right.
Yeah, that's the best kind. That's the
But
best
it was,
kind of impact.
I don't know. I'd had a shitty game or something like that, and I'm being recruited at the time, and Coach Riley, and pulled me to the side, and he's like, you played poorly. And just give me the business, being honest with me. And he's like, if you're gonna be like that and be like that at practice, like it's not gonna work for getting recruited. And like I just kind of gave him a look, as a well-knowing everything fucking 16-year-old probably does. And he looks at me and he said, you don't have to play football in college, right? And that was the first fucking time I'd ever thought that. I remember that was an original fucking concept when it hit my brain. Like, fuck do you mean?
Wait a minute.
And I was like, what do you mean? Like, dude, because of course that's what I'm going to fucking do. I'm watching it work out for my brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the path looks pretty sweet. I got really lucky that I got to pivot to track and field. I'm very curious to know what that other timeline looks like, because it sure shit isn't sitting here. I don't know what he's
Maybe
doing.
not.
I don't know when he figures it out or if he does, but I wish him the best.
Yeah. And I told you that, you also positively influenced me. Like this mentor that I'm up here for his funeral, Rob. And the similarity that you guys both share is that you're both unapologetically authentic. You are both so free being yourselves and being unencumbered by, it's not that you don't care what others think, because that's like almost blatantly disrespectful.
No, because I do.
Because you care about what others think of you, whom you respect. And
yeah, and that makes it seem like there's a hierarchy to who I give a shit about their opinion.
Yeah, and that's not true.
And it's not totally true.
Yeah.
The hierarchy definitely has to come from like who you are, an experience type of thing. Like, and like, I don't want anyone to meet me and be fucking bummed out by the interaction.
Oh God, no. I don't.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a fucking such a bummer thing. Like that if. Fuck, I don't want to just make someone's day worse.
Do you think anybody that met you in Dallas when you were holding the door open for them?
In my underwear?
In your underwear?
Just being chubby as fuck outside of that Tejano convention?
Singing Selena songs?
Oh, man. I think I brought joy. I feel like I brought joy out that night. That was the same contest that I wore the luchador mask and ruffled everyone's feathers.
So many people were bummed about that.
Bummed about that, dude.
I could not have been more impressed.
I couldn't have given any less of a shit.
I could have been more pumped on it.
Also, the people that I gave a shit about thought it was a great idea.
I loved it. And the people that mattered,
Dion's still a great friend. She shouldn't, I'm not a strongman athlete that she should have any fucking clue who I am. I competed for like a week.
Yeah. Yeah, likewise. Yeah. I was in and out pretty quick. But
I had a couple years, right? But I wasn't ever good at it. But I had fun. And it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't bad. I wasn't going to be a competitive pro. I may have at some point been able to sneak my pro card.
Sure. A lot of people have done that. You just got to wait for the right contest.
That's exactly right. I would have had to pay to go to Hawaii or some shit. I would have had to use some advantage of money to get it.
That's what happened for me. It was just a contest that had a deadlift for reps, an overhead medley, and a heavy stone load. I was like, this is me.
Look, stacking a contest for someone to win isn't the rarest thing in strongman.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I would say Worlds has gone that way a few times.
Maybe once or twice.
Maybe once or twice.
I don't know about that. What do you think? Are you referencing the O.D. Wilson?
Oh, man. The O.D. Wilson's the most blatant.
400-meter run? Like, come on, guys.
What a fucking crazy event to throw in. Jump hole wins. No shit.
Yeah, jump hole's 270 with abs. All right, guys, we're going to run 400 meters with 120 pounds of bricks. Is this a strongman event?
O.D. Wilson weighs 900 pounds and can't breathe.
I can't believe he survived.
I can't believe he survived. He only survived because they were in Iceland.
Yeah.
Just because the temperature was okay.
Yeah. It just barely survived that 400-meter run. That was blatant.
But they've been known to have a bit of fuckery in that sport.
Yeah.
Which seems to be normal for all sports.
All sports, let's be honest.
If things are contested, there's some fuckery.
Yeah, I think if you put anything under a microscope, you're going to start finding some inconsistencies. You're going to find,
But even it was really strange though. But even during that era of strongman, drugs were still a really weird conversation.
Yeah. And they weren't not allowed. They were never disbarred.
No, it's never been drug tested.
No. I think at one point they were testing for recreational drugs.
Why?
Like, yeah. Well, there was if I'm remembering correctly, I think there was a reason one year why, I don't know if it was Marius. I think it was one of the polls why they couldn't compete, and it was because they had tested positive.
Cocaine.
Tested positive for a recreational stimulant.
Yeah, so, fucking odd story enough. While I was in Tahoe week before last, Travis Altmaier was on the show. Yeah,
I love how this kind of national.
Yeah, just, well, I mean, fuck. It's,
how's he doing?
Really well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. To see someone come through that, and like we talked about the whole fucking story, and like his getting into fucking meth and locking himself away and
snapping on that judge.
Yeah.
Is his dad still doing well?
It seems like Roger's doing okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Man, his dad was great.
But Travis is back, fucking competing at World's Strongest Man this year.
Really?
Yeah, dude. 10 years after.
God damn, that's crazy.
Like, fucking. Tough.
No one else can
fuck.
say. Yeah, no one else can say that.
No, you don't go back from banging heroin to fucking
going back into the
to
game.
World's Strongest Man. You don't just take a break to do that.
No, man, most people can't even take a break to just give themselves a rest and get back to strongman.
No.
Let
most
alone
people can't
actually
even
have
get an actual decade off.
Right.
Where you did hard drugs.
Right. Or
and
just
tried
like
to ruin your life.
Or just take a couple of years to like be healthy and have some kids or something like that, and then try to get back into it. Like, how often does that ever pan out?
Never really does it.
Not that I can recall. I mean, there probably are some off, onesies and twosies.
But they're the exception.
Yeah.
It's always the exception. It's rarely the rule, and it's rarely guys at the top of the game.
Correct. The higher up you go in that, in any sport, like the longer.
I mean, even Hapthor. I mean, right? I mean, other than some other great opportunities have come his way that he doesn't have to compete in strongman anymore.
Do you think he ever will?
Fuck no. Why would you?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he should.
Well,
I think
you're only gonna get older and like do what, dude? Put on 150 pounds of body weight again?
Yeah, probably not.
No way, dude. He's focused on big stuff.
Yeah,
he really is. He's focused on bigger stuff. It just. He's great. He's doing well. His audience loves him. Mm-hmm. He's a fucking star. And so, I mean, he's earned the right to do whatever it is he wants to do.
I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah. For damn sure, dude. Yeah. Like going to Dubai and seeing him box and doing all that was really cool.
Do you find that there are a lot of people, like we were talking before you started about how, treating your not treating your new friends better than your old friends. Do you feel like a lot of his strongman fans are going to have some animosity?
I'm sure, but fucking people do that all the time, right? People are mad that your fucking favorite band gets popular.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, ridiculous. Right? That like, well, they're not doing the same thing I liked forever. And fuck you don't own me.
Yeah.
I don't make training videos about throwing Highland games anymore. I can't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so what? They're still the same channel. Mm-hmm. I don't have a niche. I like making things. I like talking about strength. But I like
is that
stories,
a niche
right?
in and of itself, though? If you think about it, like look at the Joe Rogan example.
To some extent, right? He's very good at it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say
and invented it.
He did.
So there's that. Yeah. But yeah, like Hapthor, I'm sure that there's some bit of strongman fans who are going to phase out on him because he's not doing that thing anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think they're missing out. I think deciding to sleep on that, you're missing out on a really important thing, right? Like you're seeing a guy who was able to work hard enough to excel in such a niche of strongman to be arguably one of the strongest humans that's ever lived. I feel like that's a fucking pretty safe thing to say.
Absolutely safe.
And pivot that into another high level sport. And I mean, look, man, he's not fucking trying to go get a gold medal or fight Tyson Fury yet, but he is fucking committed to another full sport that he sucked at when he started. You go from best in the world to publicly suck at a new thing. There's a fucking lot to that dude.
That is an exercise in humility for sure. Look at Arnold. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's meteoric rise to everything he ever did.
Yeah, how about telling that guy at some point that like at some point, Conan, like you doing Conan the Barbarian, won't be in the top coolest things you've ever done.
Right. Like, I don't think this whole acting gig is going to pan out,
It's
bud.
the same deal as fucking The Rock.
Right.
Right? Like, who predicts
what does that dude touch
thing?
that doesn't become gold?
Yeah.
Now, at this point.
He's just got it.
Yeah. If he goes politics, no doubt in my mind he goes all the way on it. Not that I want him to.
No, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'm more just bothered about what that says
by
about
the system.
us. Yeah.
But like, dude, the last 4 years, if there's anything that proved is like exactly, what you're afraid of. Does the system?
But then fine. Then let's just fucking admit that they're mascots. That we've elected a mascot to be America. And fuck, the Rock's not a bad one. At least he's good looking and in shape and jacked.
Exactly.
Like, this is better than
type 2 diabetes starts
it's better than
down.
what I imagine as a big baby wearing a cowboy hat and shooting guns in the air is currently the cartoon of America.
Yeah. I mean, you travel outside of the country frequently. So you've got a finger on the pulse of what the rest of the world thinks about us. And if anything, the last 2 years, the last year and a half, the last 4 years of politics, take any stretch of time you want to apply this to. It's super weird time in America.
I was really surprised by, because Bonnie and I talked to some other couples from different places and we're curious, and both of us sit pretty much in the middle of the whole politics thing. And asking people, and I really expected this, like, fucking Americans, this embarrassment, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't. Their thoughts that they had said were, they felt bad for us. And they felt bad because from the outside, they could see how this two-party thing has split us and that we fucking deserve better. And that was the sentiment I got from people. And that was a really interesting thing to hear from the other places, instead of just like fucking dumb Americans, or the same way that we would treat someone else.
Yeah. Again, this is coming just from, I have not experienced being outside of the country in a few years, right? I've got some family in Italy. I don't really keep in good touch with them. Whenever I try to stay in, up to date with the news, I'm trying to go. Yeah, I just go with like
the news is really rough.
Global.
I can't do much of it.
Yeah, BBC type broadcasting journalism there.
That's the only way to go.
Yeah,
the 24-hour news thing, it's entertainment. It's really bad. It is,
yeah. So trying to stay on top of world events. The weird thing that I think most Americans don't appreciate is that the rules don't apply to us. Like, for example, we're so quick to like point the finger at what Russia and China are doing with any number of things, and meanwhile, like, we're actively doing the same things, and we're like, yeah, but it's fine.
I know.
We don't even acknowledge it. Like,
no, we don't. We don't acknowledge that. We don't acknowledge, and that was one of the hardest things for me. Me personally over the last couple of years, was what I really thought could happen. Is that fucking A, we elect Donald Trump, and I have a different reason for that. Like, the reason for that one for me was like, so we've proven that we would rather a reality show host than you fucks.
Yes. Yeah.
If we can say nothing else, that's now true.
Dude.
That we believe the least ideal candidate for the job may still do a better job than you people who do this for a career.
Than career politicians.
Right. And that's a fucking real bummer. Because that's still the people driving the boat.
Yes. And how much do you think Donald Trump's performance is going to negate that opportunity happening again anytime soon?
I don't know, because there's a lot of people who think he did a fucking great job.
Well,
and look, personally,
I think it's made evident by a lot of.
I think there's things he did well
for sure. Look at the things
There's things that aren't great.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like the division that's in our country that happened under his watch.
Dude, that's not Donald Trump.
It doesn't matter.
We're talking
it's your
about,
fucking watch.
It's everybody on social media.
I didn't see him going forward trying to fucking mend that wall, that gap.
All right.
So whether, and that's on your watch. That's fucking accountability and responsibility.
What's Donald Trump going to do against the Internet Research Agency when it comes to, how...
So are we now pretending that he doesn't have power? Because then if that's the
I'm
case,
not saying that. I'm not saying
that's
that.
fine too.
I mean,
Then
it's going to get blamed on whatever the president is currently in office.
For sure.
But what he didn't do was anything trying to mend that gap.
The divisiveness.
Yep.
No.
I also didn't see anything get pushed.
No, if
about
anything, he
health.
capitalized on it.
Yes.
He capitalized on it and tried to use it for his, to his own advantage and to his party's advantage.
I believe he's a guy that rules out of fear. And I'm not into that type of a king.
No, most aren't.
Nope.
And I think that's why a lot of there was a pretty big number of people that voted for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
As more of an anti-Trump vote.
Of course, but how shitty is our system if that's what you have to do with your one vote? That you don't actually get to spend it on someone that you believe is a candidate that would be great for the job. You have to spend it on who you think wouldn't be the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a fucking bummer. That's a bummer. Like we should have, out of 330 million people and the things we pull off in this country, we should have fucking 24 candidates that are just greater than the next.
Squid Game.
It should be amazing people.
It should be Squid Game.
Yes, that's how we elect them now.
It should be Squid Game.
The problem is there's too much money and power that comes with the position, and that the barrier for those people who have grips on it, they ain't fucking giving it up, man.
Okay.
They'll happily ride it into the grave.
I would like, and this is a great organic turn that the conversation's taken. What I see happening, and what I truly believe is a phenomenon that we're witnessing, is there is a decreasing trust in institutions. Mm-hmm. And there happens to be a simultaneous increase in trust of individuals.
Yeah, that's a really scary turn we're having.
It's kind of crazy.
And again, this is institutions' fault.
Because
we've told them to lie to us for a really long time, and now we've decided it's not acceptable.
Right.
Which they've always lied to us.
Take journalism, for example. A clear example right there. Mainstream media, the numbers get worse every month as far as declining trust in mainstream media. And more people are going to YouTube and Facebook for their news. And they're following independent journalists, if that's what you want to call everybody who propagates news, right?
Yep.
They're getting their news from social media. So now you have a phenomenal opportunity if you're an adversarial nation state that can mass produce information or misinformation or disinformation and then
just
seed it wherever
and not
you
only
want.
That, they now have you see articles that are written by AI. Like it says that on the bottom of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this article was generated by whatever software. Mm-hmm. And fuck. So what's the route of that? That do we come out squeaky clean on this because at some point we just go all of it's bullshit? Is that where we end up finally, and we just eventually phase out and be like, cool, we can't trust any of this shit, and then we're all even again?
I really don't know. I think it takes a whole of government approach. So unfortunately, the only answer that I think is a viable option here is one that is least likely to happen, unfortunately, because it's going to take an institution. It's going to take the power of an institution like the federal government to restore the credibility of institutions that people need to be successful going forward in the information age. So, for example, if you look at petroleum in the industrial age, I think that's the lifeblood of that time period, right? That's the driving economic force behind, business,
just close to everything,
behind government, behind all things revolve around that resource. Look at the resource now that modern society has created and is now, dealing in is data. Going forward, I think
Well, we've entered a weird time with the data thing, right? From data collection. And man, it's really easy to loop that into negative.
Sure.
But when in fact, it's just data.
That's all it is.
And all it is. It doesn't have an opinion.
Yeah.
We've just never been able to collect it.
Yeah.
Like this.
Or to create it.
Right.
Transmit
or
it.
be able to say, I'd like to know what all of your habits are.
Right.
And you go, oh, here.
But that's how companies, that's how governments, that's how all these institutions that can manufacture their goods and services to meet needs or wants of people in a capitalist society. That's a pretty powerful tool.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
It's a great tool. For the first time ever, do we have a guaranteed positive return on advertising? It's not a fucking go roll the dice anymore. If you spend money on Facebook ads, it will generate income.
Fact.
Yep.
That's a fact.
Fact.
Yeah.
It may not be whatever X, but it will always be a positive return. I've never had something go bad.
But how do they, I mean, do you know that they're having lower and lower new users in younger age groups?
Of course. Yeah, they're going to different platforms.
Yeah. TikTok and
Yep. And as companies, man, you got to move.
yeah.
That's part of the deal.
Yeah.
I can sit here and fucking be mad about it, but it's being an old guy mad at the changing of tides, right? Like, how dare they?
It could be that. I mean, there's definitely, I think that nostalgia, there's always, that you always have to consider that with anything where you're like retrospectively looking back and like, oh, 10 years ago, it was better because of this or that. Like, okay.
It wasn't better.
Look, the same. Yeah.
It wasn't
20
better.
years ago, politics was still corrupt.
Here, look, that's
Companies
a weird
were-
one to me, right? We've made jokes that politicians are crooks forever.
50, 60 years, 70 years.
Did we somehow get confused on that?
No.
And then they trick us that they're not for a bit, and now we're surprised by it?
No.
Like, fuck you. We know the look the whole time, guys.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about us. And I'm fine with that. Tell me how much taxes I need to pay.
Are you going to go do that job?
Fuck
I don't want
no,
to do that job.
I don't want to do that job, but I also have no lie to myself whatsoever that they're going to help me. I've got to take care of me.
You have to.
I've got to take care of me and my thing and my people, and I need to build a thing that's independent of their decisions to the best of my ability.
You're a leader. And I've mentioned, Rob's leadership. I've complimented you on your own self-leadership and how many people you touch through your, social media, through your products, through just your emails, your little emails.
It's fucking wild, man. I can't believe I get to make a living doing this.
Yeah, that's a pretty unique power to have, that many ears and to be able to give your audience, actionable guidance on how to have more agency in their own lives, how to take ownership and take accountability of whatever situation that they're in or whatever endeavor that they're taking, upon themselves to complete, whether it's, to finish college or to go climb Kilimanjaro or anything,
whatever your goal is,
anything. Yeah. Those are good messages. And I think the people that have that awareness of the tools that they have and how refined like I said earlier, like some people naturally have that ability to lead others. And then there are fewer than those. That's a small number of the population. And even fewer know they have that ability and can apply it in a way that they can change their environment around them for the better for themselves or for the better for
I do think that there's some amount of
others.
it you can learn.
Sure. Yeah. Again,
Again, back to the training thing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that one doesn't care about your fucking background.
not at all. And
Doesn't care how smart you are.
Right. It's a great teacher to get a lot of young men, especially young men. I just think there are more young boys that gravitate towards the weight room. At least there were whenever we were, teenagers. And I think now you're seeing more and more young females go to the gym and train, and which is
kick ass.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I've got a 18-month-old daughter, and the opportunities that are there now for females to be successful and just have more fairness in the workplace, more likely to go to college than boys, and there are just way more opportunities now than there were when we were like 15, 16, just getting started.
Much
training.
less our parents are fucking
exactly,
else, right?
Exactly.
And as you're saying, dude, like I don't want it to go unsaid either. Like I always got a lot out of come and hang out with you, because there was something different there. Not only you were strong, but you had found these things that I was interested in 10 years before I did.
Really? What do you mean?
Right. Well, like strength.
Okay.
You had gotten serious about it at 16.
Okay. Gotcha. 16 versus you being 25.
26
gotcha.
or 27, right? And so, like, there were aspects of it that you had that, like, I remember you eating fucking boiled chicken and potatoes.
Yeah.
And, like, there was a level of discipline that you had already figured out by that age that I still don't have.
Right. Man.
And that's always been wildly impressive to me.
That, I think, is if I had a superpower, it's just to be a straight robot with whatever I'm eating.
Sure.
That's the most useless superpower
fucking
ever.
Not. Man, I'm trying like hell to be.
Yeah, man. It's just something that I think the way I conceptualized those objective gains, those measurable markers that I was trying to achieve with lifting, with strength, with bodybuilding, with getting bigger. Like every 24 hours, you're given an opportunity. You have the opportunity to do all of these things perfectly. Like you have all these boxes you can check. Those are within your control. I can't control,
weather.
I can't control the weather. I can't control who my parents were. I can't control my genetics. But everything else that I have in that 24 hours, in this next 24 hours, I have control over. I have control over when I go to sleep, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people that don't, but I have control over what I put in my body. I have control over how I train when I'm at the gym. I have control over what media I'm consuming. I have control over whose influence I'm allowing in my mind, whether it's a positive influence that's going to propel me to want to get better and love my wife and my kids more and be more present, or is it going to be a negative influence on me and make me be more driven to achieve career goals? And like it could go any number of ways, but the awareness. That's what it comes down to, being self-aware and understanding that these are opportunities that you have every day.
All choices.
Exactly.
And for me, what comes down to that too, and I've landed on it a lot, is I want people to give a shit, and I want people to do better, and I want to motivate, inspire, whatever, right? But I'm no longer interested in people lying to themselves. I want honesty with you. Like if you don't have that, first and foremost, like that's kind of that first step to like trying to get some discipline and getting your shit together is a bit of self-awareness and honesty with yourself of like, if your goal is to lose weight and you keep saying that and then you don't because you keep eating cookies or whatever the thing is, or just too much or losing focus or whatever it is, then admit you don't give a fuck.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Say that you don't really give a shit and go find something you do instead of halfway fucking doing this one.
I think a lot of people would be much, much more satisfied with, with themselves at the end of the day if they did follow that advice.
And if we do give a shit, then let's fucking go. Then what are we doing? Because no one can help us.
Yeah.
We either do or we don't. There's not a middle ground to, well, I kind of care about my health.
Yeah. The gentleman whose funeral I was at today is a perfect example of that. I mean, anything that this guy got into, he was 100% in it.
Yep.
Whether it was like, dude, the guy at one point in his life was just hustling pool. He literally played pool and hustled pool to make a living.
What a fucking interesting
dude. You couldn't have written a character for a story that was more like off the wall and just kind of wild and out. Like, man, he had this scar over his left eye, a diagonal scar going from his temple down to the middle of his left eye. And he had another scar from the bottom of his right eye going down to his cheek. And they were from two different fights.
Oh, man.
One was from a brick and another one was from a bottle. And he had a great story for both of them.
Of course he did.
Yeah. And there's just nothing that was hardcore in this dude's mind that he wasn't all about. Powerlifting, motorcycles, street racing cars. I mean, the dude told me at, I think I was 16 at this point. I was training with him. Dude, no joke. It was me and a buddy of mine drove from Alton over to Overland.
Yeah.
And trained at Eagle Gym with him on like a Friday night. And he's a police officer at the time, like a street cop at the time here. I don't know if he was in a leadership position or not, but like he was working. I think he had to go to work at like 2, like something like that in the morning. It was like some crazy like late night, right? So he was gonna go to work after we trained. So we're there squatting, and this dude's in a belt and like a pair of briefs and some knee wraps, squatting. He's got 775 on the bar. And I'm 16 and maybe 185, 190. And my buddy he's literally not even fucking looking at the bar. And we're spotting. We're his side spots. Like, could you imagine?
No business being there.
No, dude.
You both lose fingers.
This is before anybody was using chains on a monolith.
No. Your best bet is just get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
It's way better to let this dude drop it to the floor off his back.
I was just thinking like, oh my God, if he doesn't get reps number 2 and 3, I'm getting fucking buried by 775.
Dude, the geared lifting thing was such a different world as a spotter.
You had to have training partners.
Because you'd miss lifts not because of weakness. It wasn't because you failed.
Shifted just forward or something weird.
Out of the groove, it's done.
Or if like one of the stitches pops and you
your
lose
fucking
tension.
equipment fails, dude.
Yeah. So, like, just think about the nuts that a guy has whenever he's got, 350 kilos on his back, going down for a triple, and he's got 2 16-year-olds, one of which is paying attention as his side spotters. Like,
he felt real confident.
Dude, the guy was...
we're working at about 70% here. This is great.
He was an interesting dude. He told me that when I asked him why he became a cop, he said, Max, I was driving across St. Louis, and I'm not going to mention the amount. He told me the amount, with a felonious amount of cocaine.
Felonious. Felonious is a great term.
And he said, and it just dawned on me, I am tired of running from these goddamn cops. I might as well just become one. And
that was it.
And he ended up becoming an assistant chief.
Well, I mean, at least he knows the business, I suppose.
Yeah, he was super tired. Dude, he was training police dogs for the police department before he even became a cop.
Fascinating, dude.
Yeah, super into some very, very different, like very siloed hobbies, but they were all pretty hyper masculine, very intense things that require people to be successful, require people to be students of those games.
And physical.
And pretty physical, like dog training.
Yeah, dog training is fucking super physical.
Yeah, powerlifting. Motorcycle riding, not really, but...
Disagree.
Yeah,
depends on what riding.
It depends on what motorcycle you're riding. But motorcycle culture, pretty physical.
Yeah. I mean, it fits in with the other ones.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, you say pretty young. What got him?
I think it was lung cancer. I think he had lung complications and he had cancer. But this is a guy that pushed pretty hard with gear at a point in his life. Not powerlifting equipment per se, but anabolics.
Yeah.
And he is the perfect example of a candle that burns brighter is going to burn a little faster.
It's part of
but that's...
I think about stuff like that, right? Like whether that's gear or Adderall or fucking any big accelerant, as I would call it, that you're throwing on top of whatever the fire is for life. Like there's a good amount for any of it that just makes it a little brighter and allows you to push the speed limit. And then there's problem. And then there's getting up to speed where you're coming through the fucking atmosphere, and if anything goes wrong, it's a real problem. And I don't know, man. To each their own.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
I'm not judging his decisions.
I'm sure shit not. I typically fall more in line with fuck yeah to people that have lived their life on their terms.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough about the guy or how he felt toward the end.
Like I said, I regret not being closer with him more recently. And I think, his passing is making me consider reaching out and truly being more present with the people in my life who have made that same impact, like you. And just thinking, like, man, I was running around with you. Like, dude, we went to Nebraska one time.
I went to Big Iron.
Yeah, exactly. We've done
that fucking maniac, Rick.
It's some dudes out there. Yeah.
Everybody shot. Like, he's a fucking tough fuck.
We were the only two at that contest that didn't have goatees in our head shape.
That's right.
We've been to some. We've had some.
Oh, that was that. We went up to Nebraska. I competed in this. It was like half Highland Games, half strongman show, and I tied. I tied for the national championship on it, and then they went back to a body weight for the count back, and they gave the other guy. Dude, before weigh-ins, you and I went to some Mongolian barbecue
and crushed
and fucking ate for like an hour and a half, and then like I showed up to weigh-ins like in boots and jeans and just didn't give a fuck. I got beat on body weight by like 2 pounds.
Oh no!
It doesn't make any sense.
By a dude that I ended up competing with in the Highland Games for like 10 years.
Was he pretty cool?
Yeah, Chuck Casson.
Nice.
Yeah, he's fucking great. He's a physical therapist. Lives in Nebraska. He's great.
I remember we were both just dumbfounded. Like neither of us had even considered this being a possibility.
No.
Like, what do you mean this is a tie?
Yeah, it was a fucking tie, dude. Chuck's good. Chuck was a good thrower. But I ended up beating him in one of the strongman events, and he beat me in one of the Highland Games. Yeah, he fucking beat me in the weight over bar.
Oh yeah, I remember you struggled with that for a little while. But
gave up one to each other.
Yeah. Eventually, you got pretty good at the weight over bar, though.
Yeah, eventually I figured it out too. I got consistent.
Yeah.
And that's really how I made my whole thing. And there's not any events that I was really killer in.
Dude, it's the Marius.
I could show up and do all of them every weekend.
Yeah, it's the Marius Pujanowski approach. Like you don't have to win a single event if you just place second or third in every event.
Yo, when Eddie pulled out of the boxing fight, they talked about giving the fight to Marius.
Really?
Yeah, and
that would not have gone well.
No, it's a terrible fucking idea.
Horrible.
A few reasons, if I'm speculating.
Please do.
One, Marius has been fighting for a living for a decade. That's a lot of ring time.
That's a little bit of experience.
It's a lot of ring time. Two, I don't think Marius gives a fuck about whether or not he would win. And so I think there's a chance Marius could enjoy that big paycheck, bet on himself to lose or get disqualified, do something stupid in the ring, like try to hurt him. Mm-hmm. All of it goes well for him publicity-wise in Poland when he goes back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's all gravy for him.
Yeah.
But, interesting. Like, I've never heard not sketchy things about Marius.
Dude, about how he went to prison in Poland at like 240 and comes out at 275, 280.
People normally gain weight. There's usually an excess of calories in prison as they typically have.
Yeah, he killed somebody.
Marius did.
Yeah, it was on accident. It was obviously it was on accident.
Just strangled his dude when he was making love to him?
No, I don't know if it's probably not well known.
I'm sure if we wanted to figure it out, we could.
You could get on a specific search engine. Yeah.
Fucking Marius maybe killed a guy. I know Misha killed a guy. Misha's one of my all-time favorites.
Super cool, dude.
Still all-time is my favorite strength athlete of all time.
Yeah, by far, he was the best at multiple
and wild.
Multiple sports.
And he's a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Doing weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Marius was running He was running drugs for the Polish mob.
From what I understand, if you live in Eastern Europe, that tends to be seems to be part of the job.
Right. Well, apparently he was able to train with equipment and still get access to food and supplements
good.
while he was in jail.
While he was in
don't worry
jail.
about it. Yeah, I think
It's just slight advantage.
I think he caught a manslaughter charge and got out.
Caught a manslaughter.
I think he caught a manslaughter.
Can't spell manslaughter without laughter.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he caught manslaughter 1 and got out early on,
I don't know if Polish jail is where I
behavior.
want to go. But then again, I don't know what jail is like anywhere else. I know that my view of most of the planet is skewed because of the media that we get here. I was very, very high the other day, and then I realized that I've only visited the English internet.
Why?
Well, because any other country that doesn't speak English, they all still have websites and information and news.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
this
yeah.
whole
Okay.
same internet that I'm used to, but not in my language. So how much internet is out there that I don't think about? And I'm not sure why I just got excited about that amount of information.
I would say a lot less than what you're
You're fucking crazy.
I'm not.
Not everyone uses our internet.
No, it's not that. Well, I would say the majority of the routers and switches that are used that support like this cyber infrastructure that keeps the internet operating. Like,
yes, sure. But like, not every website is .com, right? Like, there's a whole world that's .uk. There's a whole world that's .de. That's all of these other countries that do shit.
But there are quite a few that are still hosted on American servers.
Yeah, of course. That's not as important to me.
No.
It's more of who the information is directed at. And I realized that, I guess it's funny, because as I travel, I look at like Netflix and stuff like that, and you get a whole different run of shows when you're in another country.
Sure. I mean, you can do that from here if you just had like a Tor browser.
Yeah, of course. It's
run it
not
through a VPN
terribly hard. I'm not a hacker, Max. I don't know what you think I'm going to do.
It's not that hard.
No, it's impossible. You were the first guy to try to get me into Bitcoin, by the way, because I was trying to buy gear.
How much?
I wish I would have bought that Bitcoin then, and then like
I wish I would've got
I'm
in
not
there.
even. So I'm pretty sure I've tried to buy like $200 worth of Bitcoin,
can't
and whenever
figure
that
this-
was, and I have no fucking clue where that is.
Can't figure this out.
I couldn't figure it out at all.
Might as well just let
Couldn't
them
figure it
have
out. I'm fairly certain I bought $200 in Bitcoin and
Dude, I
then
bet it's-
couldn't figure out anything.
I bet it's worth thousands right
For
now.
sitting in some fucking bullshit login
There's-
that I have no concept of.
There's quite a bit of Bitcoin out there.
Yeah.
That is in that-
Unclaimed?
unclaimed. In that
Yeah, and
sense
it's in a
that
weird
they're
spot that
in
people
locked
don't know what
wallets.
to do it.
Well, if the FBI has anything to say about it, like that can be claimed at some point. So don't.
Yeah, it'll
don't
just
worry.
be claimed by them.
It'll be claimed.
Yeah.
Just give it-
So that was one of those things. Like, if you're really, really rich and you don't have any heirs and you didn't put your will to a person or a thing, where's that fucking money goes? They just go to Uncle Sam. Eventually, they just get it. Like the cash just goes back into circulation.
I'm not sure. You think the Treasury Department just claims that?
Well, I assume at some point. I mean,
I don't know enough.
does it
about,
just sit in Capital One's account? And what if it's not a lot of money? What if it's a fucking $5,000 that no one claims? Does that eventually just all go back?
Gets repossessed by
Pay
the
taxes
the
your
Fed.
whole fucking life, and then after you die, they just claim all your shit. I don't have any idea how it works.
I don't know how that works.
I'm
But
sure
we should both
most
look
people's
into
money
it.
goes somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm burying mine.
Are you?
Yeah,
Nobody's getting
in the
this.
sea.
Pirates booty.
No one will expect. I'm not going to have any when I die. That's the whole plan.
You're just gonna run it all into the
Fucking
ground.
hell.
Yeah.
Wheels on fire and about 75 cents in an account somewhere. Whatever enough to just handle charges after I've gone. Because that last week will get ugly. Ring them up, boys.
Last I saw
We're
Matt.
taking the PJ.
Last I saw Matt, he was selling singles down by the liquor store.
Selling loose cigarettes.
Yeah, loose cigarettes down by
Oh, man.
down
Selling
by
some
the cigarette.
loosies. I've never sold loosies.
No.
Sold drugs before. Sold drugs working in a strip club.
Oh, dude, have you talked about Attila and all those stories
Yeah.
on your podcast? Those are pretty funny.
To
Those
some
are some
extent.
good
Yeah,
road
he's a fucking
stories.
wild person.
Yeah, I think Rob, for me, was similar to
Ooh, and Attila.
an Attila to
Maybe the good characters. Like, I wouldn't put Attila as a real positive long-term influence in my life.
And I guess I didn't mean it like that, but just
But at the same time,
shocking how uninhibited, like just how
Attila is a complete
yeah,
barbarian savage of a human.
unencumbered by
Doesn't
the
give a fuck.
rules of society.
Nothing matters. Doesn't. He was definitely one of the first people that I saw of just like, oh, you don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob was definitely that for me. When I watched this dude headbutt a bar and then squat, between 700 and 900 pounds on different occasions, and I couldn't even fathom that much weight at the time. I'm like,
Yeah, Attila pulled a guy's eye out.
Jesus.
Like
Yeah.
at the strip club one. It
Yeah.
was like Tuesday at like 9 p.m. We'd had some type of rumble and a guy lost an eye. I'm like, fuck, man, what a poor decision that dude made that night. You could have just been cool and looked at boobs, and now you're missing an eye from escapades.
Yeah, you can't see out of
Half.
half
Half of your eye.
what you could.
Fuck, man, it's not a good plan. Not a fucking cool plan at all. Those were weird years. But
Formative.
yeah. They're really good because I did realize something during that point is I like sketchy shit. That is a fact. I'd love to pretend I don't, but I do.
It's gritty.
Yeah.
You're drawn to it.
There's some honesty to it.
Dude, same here. I mean,
So, like, 'cause-
I went infantry for the same reason, I think. I had the opportunity because I really applied myself in college, and I could have gone any branch of the Army as an officer, and I chose infantry because that's that same attraction to grittiness. The how hardcore it is and how, it's not for everybody, but the ones that can hack it are going to they're going to thrive. They're going to thrive there.
And those gritty environments need people that can really hack it.
Yeah, they do.
So that's an interesting calling to that. I don't know if that's exactly the same attraction as I had to working in that environment, but I get what you're saying. Like, I fully understand what you're saying about, like, it is that work of it. And something I was thinking about earlier as we were talking about being drawn to powerlifting or being drawn to these resistance.
Yeah.
Right? That's simply all it is. And it's, perhaps maybe 100 years ago, we would have been really, really happy doing a physical job.
Just being farmers in the Midwest, probably.
Because there
if we're
wasn't
in
a
St.
better,
Louis.
crazier option to make a living.
Yeah.
But because there are other options, we can do those things that provide more freedom or whatever. But clearly, we still need that output to manage us. Like, so we still need this weird manual labor thing.
Dude, how much happier are you and more satisfied with life are you when you're training hard?
It's always been.
Always better.
Been. It's always, my life is always more together. It's more organized. I'm happier.
And it's
emotionally better. I sleep better.
irrespective.
I want to fuck more. Everything's better.
Irrespective of your schedule. I mean, you
Yep.
could be even busier and still training hard, and you're going to be functioning better.
Or at least training consistently.
Yeah.
Hard could be,
Well, shit,
it's
dude,
relative.
hard, relative. Like, dude, knee in a good spot or a bad spot, you can still get on something and go
100%.
fucking hard.
Yeah, you can gas it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether that's sitting on the leg extension with 50 pounds on it and just go till they stop, because they will eventually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you do a, double or triple drop set, like I'm not trying to church up or like put anybody out there, but like there are machines out there that you can see Jesus on. You can sell your soul
For
on a lat pull
sure.
down if
And the
you're doing
more
it
that
right.
I've learned from the
Yeah.
bodybuilding friends of that side of training, it's
Some
been
pain
really
tolerance.
I respect the bodybuilding thing so much because of what like full commitment it is. It's
Yeah.
different than strength.
Yeah,
You can fuck off a lot and get really strong.
You can.
Yeah.
It's not like, again, it's not 24 hours. Like
No,
bodybuilding
you
is.
stayed lean getting strong.
I tried to.
Well, but you also competed at 105. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not super tall, heavyweight strongman wasn't going to be a good look for you.
Probably not. No, Dimitar is not.
No, that's what I would have looked like.
Same here, dude.
I would look exactly like that circus freak.
Like, I'm not trying to have a brain on the outside of my head.
Yeah, actual circus freak. So during that time, Brent, this guy, Dimitar, I think he still competes.
He might.
Very first time I competed against him was in Louisiana. He's traveling from Belarus as a circus strongman.
Oh, shit.
And he would like come through Baton Rouge when Barnum and Bailey's was in town and like come fucking train at the house.
For his job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Hey, he was a circus strongman.
Traveling. Oh, did he do like the fake dumbbell thing? All that or what?
They weren't fake. They
weren't.
just
Or didn't weigh as
and
much?
they weigh a lot.
Oh, okay.
They're
Yeah, I
just
think
not
they're just-
heavy for strong people, for what we really know.
And they're
Oh, okay.
cartoonishly big.
Yeah.
They're a lot bigger.
Yeah,
so you make
I
stuff
didn't
look
know.
silly.
Okay, I didn't know if they were real though. Was
Or
the thing?
he would do weird athletic stuff too, like to where he had like a really long bar on his back, but had like 10 people standing on either
okay.
side of
Yeah,
it,
supporting
and then,
a
like,
lot of it.
spin with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But he would come to the house and train, and never spoke great English, but fucking rad to train with.
Squat 700 pounds like it was
fucking
nothing.
strong.
So
Just so ridiculously
front
strong.
squatting 600.
Press
like it's
overhead,
not-
anything.
500 pounds.
Yeah, anything.
Push pressed 500 pounds multiple
I've never
times.
seen anyone sweat like that person.
Dude.
Dude, it was just this river would fucking like fall out of his face.
Multiple shirts.
Like his shirt
at all
wouldn't
times.
get wet anywhere, but just like as if you had to like do the fake sweat on someone for a movie and like put all the cords in their hair, except for he's bald. Like, so if you just had a bunch of tubes for water
Yeah.
to turn on,
Yeah.
and then that's how your shirt got wet,
Yeah.
that's what he looked like.
Wow.
Dude, you're also talking about a guy that's 5'8"?
No,
5'9"?
he's 6 foot. He doesn't look it because he's thick.
Sir.
I believe he's 6 foot.
Sir.
The reason I say that.
You're going to lie to my face right
The
here.
reason I say that, because I remember looking at him and having this realization of like, if you want to be a pro strongman, that's what I have to look like.
Dude, I've looked at that
And I
man
was like, 'cause
eye
he's-
to eye, and I'm 5'8.25" or 5'9", depending on
All right, maybe he's fucking
when the
shorter.
last time I squatted
Maybe
was.
he's
It's-
shorter than the last time I squatted.
You
I
are-
fucking feel that, my friend.
You are goddamn drunk if you
All
think
right.
that man's 6 foot tall.
He's less than 6 foot
He's
tall.
definitely less than 6
I'll
foot
give you
tall.
that.
And he is
You seem
definitely
certain.
more than 300 pounds.
No, he was 150 kilos easy.
Yeah, every bit of 330.
I bet
340.
pushing closer to 400 pounds probably
Yeah.
for World or for the Arnold for sure. Because that was always such a heavy show.
static.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less athletic need on those events for sure. More, like really the only one that you really need to be somewhat athletic on would be like some of the weight over bar, like the keg over bar
Right.
movements. But
Yeah, other than that, nothing too fucking crazy.
yeah, you could just be 5'9" and partial deadlift 1150, and you'll be straight. You make up for that bad throw.
So were there a bunch of people today in attendance that are just like lifters that had
Man, there were quite a few from, again, like these different silos. There were a ton of officers. There were a ton of lifters there that I recognized that knew me. And one of them came up and was like, dude, I didn't recognize you with a mustache. Like, man, what do you think I'm going to fuck around and come to St. Louis to a man's funeral with all these cops and have warrants and get caught like that? I ain't no punk. I ain't going out like that, son. So,
That's your disguise? Good work.
I was like, dude, if I'm going to this man's funeral, all these cops got to have a mustache.
Gotta have a mustache.
Gotta have a mustache.
I gotta blend.
Yeah, gotta blend in. Low key. There were just sects of these different groups that he interacted with. And he's the nexus that, connected all these different people, his passing. But the same stories were present regardless of which
Yeah.
group. The guy had integrity. The guy was driven. He was compassionate. He was a leader in a way that was authentic. He led by example first, and then gave actionable coaching and mentoring to anybody that sought it out or that he saw potential in. He would, actively try to help them out. Right. So it is the most genuine type of leadership, in my opinion, of the type that Rob Colber exhibited, and the type that you exhibit as well is you lead by example, and then the people that are taking notice can, give they can get more of your direct attention, and you can foster more of the improvement that they're trying to seek out or gain.
Yeah.
From your coaching.
Yeah,
So,
there's definitely, access. It's
like
you know-
your newsletters, man. Like every time I get on the,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, every time I'll text you out of the blue every once in a while. Like, man, that was a really good one. Like, I
Yeah,
like that.
those have been fun, man, and I really like. I don't know. I like that side of things. Brant and I have talked a lot recently just about content creation and kind of what we want to do because, there's part of me that enjoys coaching and helping. I like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not that interested in telling
Sets
you how
and
to
reps.
squat.
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit,
It doesn't
dude.
matter.
That's effort.
Yeah.
Like,
Go hard.
let's just agree that we'll work hard in there.
And that squatting is probably
if you
good for most people.
Want to physically be the best in the world at a sport?
You're going to have to go
I'm
hard.
all fucking for it. I'm not your coach.
Right.
I can help you with some mindset shit. That's where I'd like to help.
Yeah.
Because that part you can do, man. You don't need my fucking help for that part. That part's easy. It applies to everything exactly the same. Just keep showing up, keep working hard. Like, be consistent. Whether you want your diet to change, you want your fucking body to change. And again, it's that thing you can control. There's so much that you can't, and there's a certain freedom that comes with your life when you control the stuff you can. And if you let those fires get out of control, there's fucking nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, how many times, and we do that as people, we end up piling on bullshit on top of bullshit. I mean, how many people have a bad meal and then say, fuck it for dinner?
Yeah.
And so now you're two.
Super easy to do that.
You know,
A
you
lot of
lose
people do that.
momentum.
Or if you can't, same thing as like, if for some reason you're out of town or you're on the road or something like
It's
that.
easy to not train.
Well, not just that. It's not, I mean, what if you had like a hotel gym that just had like 30-pound dumbbells? You mean to tell me you couldn't go down to that gym and in 45 minutes
You can
to an
trash
hour
yourself.
with 30-pound dumbbells, two of them?
It would be tough if my current goal was becoming best in the world at strongman.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like, this
But
gym's not going to work, but
right.
you
can't tell me you can't do man makers for an hour
Damn
straight
right.
and be crushed.
could I be fit? 100%.
Yeah.
Could I work hard? 100%. Could
Yeah.
I move the needle on being stronger, being healthier, any of those type of things that day? Absolutely.
Sure, unplug that treadmill and let's get to work, bud.
Go outside.
Go outside.
Dude, you know how many
Perfect.
times, fuck, I think.
I forget that you run. Like, I forget
Yeah,
that you've been, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's new. And I don't know that what I would do is
Yeah.
you would call run. I move outside freely by my feet occasionally.
I'd call that running.
Okay. It's a shrugging shoulders fast walk.
Yeah, but that is an endeavor that I was introduced to much after strongman and powerlifting.
Oh, through the military.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have a similar experience where you and I were very anaerobically biased in our training.
God, forever.
Right. And so, think about what your gauge of hard is once you start to, go down those more aerobic endeavors, like, going into like a
way different
5K run,
Yep.
like a hard 5K run pace, that last half mile, dude.
Because still 5K, for me, that's 30 minutes of commitment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not fast.
Okay. But right.
I've got some compromised parts.
Time trial. Like, you're trying to beat a time.
Yeah, you can gas.
Easily.
You can never be in too good a shape for a 5K to be too easy.
Never.
You
Absolutely.
can always run harder, and it can fuck you up.
Or you can run a harder, like a different course, different route.
Change the intensity. It is not the method.
Infinitely It is infinitely scalable to whatever your needs are.
Yep.
Right. Running, squatting. Like, is there ever going to be a barbell that is not, you can't load more weight onto? And
Right. That's
be
never been the
challenged?
limiting factor.
No. Right.
No. And I mean, not only that, like, so many different ways to do it and scale it too, whether you want to use Hatfields or a belt squat or anything. You still challenge the
You're
legs.
still squatting. You're still doing that movement, and that's taxing the spine. It's taxing that movement pattern. But you got to just take what we're saying right now. For example, we're pushing the fundamentals. We're advocating for going hard on those basic things that you can really push
because
they work.
if you're
They're
not able
gimmicks.
to focus and do those long term, you're not going to be able to get to the really fun stuff.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
and then you haven't developed any of the discipline and skill it takes to hold once you get to the good stuff. And whether that's business or whether that's anything, that'd be like, fuck, man, I can't imagine that, like, if I was, let's say, lucky enough and the scenario's turned, right, that I'm doing whatever my brother's doing and he's running hate.
Mm-hmm.
Something crazy happens and he's like, hey, man, I don't want to do it anymore. It's all yours. Walking into this, like, without the last fucking 8 years experience, fuck.
Probably not at the scale that it's at
No,
now.
I have
There's
no
way you
fucking
could do it.
clue what I
No.
would do.
No, it grew organically.
Right. And you can't, and it's fun now.
And so did your experience along with it. So that's how, I mean.
And no different than the training stuff. Like you have to do those early reps. You have to do that, the travel, the experience, the competing, the going in and training when no one else gives a shit.
Think about the experience you've gotten from hate and where a lot of that started, like, not where it started, but just those skills that made hate successful at the beginning. Where did you get those? Selling, working in sales, interpersonal skills like that.
It's really crazy too now, like looking back at like kind of the whole picture, right? Now that you have some hindsight on it and perspective, I look back at when I had the bike shop. We were making shirts. And then I started helping my buddy's band, Drew, and I was tour managing for them. So now I was starting to travel more often and do shit. And I was helping them sell merch. I'm really not doing anything different than that now. I'm just selling merch and traveling.
Yeah. I mean, but again, this is what how those skills are transferable to multiple areas, multiple facets of your life. Just like those skills that you're talking about, like kinesthetic awareness and, what made you a good athlete? Is it the ability to squat down and stand back up with good squat form for your body? Or is it the ability to be aware of what position your body is in space and be aware of working hard and your level of effort and being able to gauge like, oh, I can do another rep and not die.
Yeah. And it's only from experience, right?
Exactly.
So how did, your time from, I guess, getting into lifting early and then starting to realize that thing that you're talking about, that this was something that was fully under your realm? Success or fail only had to do with you and your effort, and it didn't tie to your parents or entitlement or any of these other type of things.
It totally shaped everything about my life currently.
And
like
then
the fact that
did that apply to the military? Well,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I went, I don't like heights. I'm afraid of heights.
I remember you telling me that about jumping. You're like, I fucking hate it every time.
Every single time. I hated jumping every single time just because I don't like heights.
How many times have you jumped?
21 times.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And they were all static line jumps, not like the cool ones you see in the movies.
Not the cool ones.
Not the cool ones that Tom Cruise is doing in Mission Impossible. These are the ones that Band of Brothers do. Where you're going at like 800 feet AGL, like very close to the ground.
Fuck.
Super lame. You don't have a whole lot of time if something goes
There's no
wrong.
enjoyment.
Not really, man. You get ground. I mean, just the anxiety about it, like I just don't like heights to begin with. And the fact that I was in a leadership position and I'm around soldiers that are looking at me that
don't like heights.
They don't. And it's easy to be, to show fear in those situations where like, naturally a lot of humans are afraid of heights, but you have to suppress that because you're an officer and these are all your soldiers. Or these are soldiers in your battalion that your reputation as a leader could be permanently tarnished if if you're just looking like a pussy.
Sure.
Don't you ever dare
don't flinch.
Yeah, exactly. You got to just have a poker face, and that's like, that's the being able to control those basic human fears and anxiety about being, 1,000 feet off the ground and not liking heights, that goes back to.
Well, but what are everyone's big fears, right? The public speaking.
Oh yeah.
And so it's this fear of being found out or too much light or any of that. And that's the same fear that translates into that.
It all comes out as
that leadership role.
Yeah.
It's that like, I'm aware that other people are watching.
For sure.
And how do you perform in that stress?
Yeah.
And then mix in real stress on top of that part. Like there's no real stress for giving a speech.
No, it's all perceived.
Yeah. There's no danger.
Yeah. Nobody's going to cut your little finger off.
No, it's never going to happen.
If you mess up one of your
maybe
consonants.
different speech. Not any of the ones I've had to give.
Yeah.
But there's real danger with jumping out of a fucking airplane.
There is.
There's more than giving a speech.
There's definitely more. Yeah. Some people have gotten seriously hurt and a few people have been.
Very few have been
killed.
Well, some have given speeches, but I guess weird scenario, usually from bullets as well.
True. But just seeking out those challenges, like, going infantry as an officer, going to an airborne unit, there were expectations like you have to be Ranger qualified as a lieutenant to show up and take a platoon and be a platoon leader. So I dedicated myself to, becoming what I would need to become mentally and physically to be successful at that challenge. So I had to, learn small unit tactics. I had to, so that required studying, and it required, being out in the field and getting experience, leading people who are tired, leading people who are hungry, leading people who are turned inward, so you have to use a lot of that self-leadership and apply it to coax out the effect you're trying to get out of 40 different guys.
Right.
40
It's
different
not the
people.
same. It's not the same tool in the toolbox for every human.
No, and exactly. So that's the thing that lifting, I mean, not just lifting, but yeah, I think, again, like I said, being pulled out of the matrix, learning that I had control over my environment and learning that self-awareness at such an early age, I think has been tremendously valuable in my life.
And I think what you're talking about there is a really, really important leadership trait that gets missed. And I think a lot of people want to look at leaders as this driving force, this fucking hammer, right? This tip of the spear.
Yeah.
But what leaders to me, and I've always respected leaders to me were the guys that were able to get everyone on board without their ego being what we're following.
Dude, take this for example. This is from Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Ego suppression and a validating statement. So as a manager of people or a salesman or a leader, I could go to you and try to get you on board with my idea by communicating it to you in a way that it makes you feel like this was authentically your idea.
Yeah, of course.
And that you get credit for it.
Perfect.
So ultimately, if I don't care who gets credit for it, but I just need the organization to move in that direction, why would I ever inhibit you from thinking that was your idea and for you getting
I feel
credit?
this way all the time.
Yeah, right?
Like I mean, as a book, I've picked up and glanced over a few times because I'll catch a concept and be like, yeah, of course.
A lot of it is just innate.
It's reaffirming a lot of things I already have done and figured out naturally. But yeah, that's like, to me, like that's the goal of leadership. The goal of leadership is to get performance out of your guys.
Absolutely.
And whatever that carrot is that those dudes chase, that's your goal to figure out. And then to figure out, is that a carrot you're willing to offer?
Yeah. That is a truly, that is the challenge with, especially military leadership, because really for combat arms jobs like, artillery and infantry and armor, specifically because like a lot of these jobs are putting soldiers and Marines in positions where like as soon as they start to turn inward, they can really compromise the overall mission.
Well, I bet, right? So you're a little less focused. You're
right. So getting guys like, man, if you're in another specialty where your field is, information technology or some other aspect of the military or some other aspect of an organization, like a technical role, there's a manual that tells you exactly how that piece of machinery operates optimally, right?
Sure.
And if you're a manager of people, you need to be able to understand what drives 18-year-old Matt Vincent, who grew up with his older brother Andy playing football and grew up with his specific parents and had these impressions from these people in his life to get him to perform optimally. You need to be able to coach and mentor, and being aware of those, of those things within yourself, I think is the first. Like again, I'm reiterating a point that you've already made multiple times.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. Being able to identify it in your own life and appreciate it is the first step in being able to elicit the same thing from another person.
That I know that you're in control of this. It's convincing people too that like you're not in the passenger seat, man. You don't have to be along for this ride. You can make all the decisions and turn right and left whenever you want. What you have to also accept with that is all of the consequences.
Yeah. And that's not easy whenever you can fail. A lot of people don't want that because it hurts.
Fuck, man, you can fail on the standard one.
You're going to fail all the time.
Yeah. That's the thing, though.
Yeah.
That's the fucking lie, is that the idea that we'll just call it the standard life path, right? Yeah. And there's plenty of people doing it that are pumped. I don't think most people in it are fucking sheep and unhappy and just going through the motion. I think most people are fine. But I think there are people that find themselves just stuck, that are like, yo, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I wanted to do this, or I wanted to do that, or I had thoughts of this. And whether you excuse yourself from following those dreams it's too late.
Yeah.
Like, what a fucking lie that is. Right? Because when's a great time to plant a tree? Well, 20 years ago.
And
well, when's the next best time? Right fucking now.
Right now. Today.
And so, like, if you can let go of any weird sentimental value of time invested or energy invested.
Or time lost. The regret of time
I'm not
lost.
throwing good time at bad anymore.
Right. And the second you break that cycle, you've regained some time, in fact, because you're no longer stuck overanalyzing something that is not getting you any closer to what end you're trying to achieve anyway.
It's like I just want to use my rear view mirror to look at data, not emotions.
Right. Yeah.
Or at least not let the emotions
analysis
back there decide what direction I want to continue forward. I just want data to pick left or right ahead. Or if you want to go against it, you can.
Yeah.
But you don't get both. If you want to choose a thing that's an obvious shit route and an obvious really hard task and an obvious super big risk, you can. I want you to. If that's what you want, go for it. But you get all of those consequences. And you have to own it. You have to own that too. That's how it works.
You know as well as anybody the security that comes with having, a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
9 to 5
Head
job
man.
with a career track, like a natural career progression.
Well, in that line of work, I had damn near doubled my income every 2 years. And I mean, I think, that would have capped off at some point.
Sure. But I mean, that's you're able to financially plan and have some predictability with your life and kind of the life trajectory you're on.
Yeah. It took me.
It's comforting. It's a comforting thing to have in your life when you have that. And a lot of people, when they get these parts of their lives that are predictable, it's hard for them to let go and do something that is different.
Oh, yeah. It's
Very
really
hard.
tough because there's a lot of identity that gets built in.
Yes.
There's a lot of identity that gets built in. And like, I totally, that was something that I couldn't quite understand as a kid, was like this empty nest syndrome thing. Like this idea that, that parents, as soon as the kids move out, like they fucking panic because they don't know what to do anymore. And I was like, what do you fucking mean? Now you have all the free time. You can do whatever
anything you want. Yeah.
Except if part of the identity you've built to why you're not doing all of these exciting things is because of you being held back by kids. And then now there's not a barrier anymore and you have to just admit you don't want to do those things. That's fucking tough.
Man, having kids.
But it's okay to just be like, I thought I wanted to do this. I don't.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It changes a lot. It's a weird one that changes a lot of your perspective on things.
I'm sure. It's a weird thing to say because I've no interest in having them.
Yeah.
Got clipped 2 months ago. Like,
congrats.
Fucking out. Yeah.
Dude,
I'm happy to celebrate it. However,
I mean, my story. My story.
Of course.
It's like my for anybody that's listening and doesn't know, I don't know if this is like please don't let this be a virtue signal. If it sounds like I'm trying to
I don't
sell
think
something,
you're a virtue signaling type of guy.
If it sounds like I'm trying to sell you something, find me on social media. You
don't exist.
Yeah, I fucking dare you to find me.
Yeah,
on
we don't
social
have to
media.
tag anyone at the end of this one.
Yeah. So, I was dating Karina for a couple months and she got pregnant.
Yep.
Right.
It happens.
It does. If you put it in the right hole.
Yeah.
Put it in the
Sex
right
without
hole.
condoms and having orgasms, that does it.
It'll do it. Yeah.
Science, we haven't dialed in.
Yeah. we've put men on the moon.
Yeah, we know what makes women pregnant.
Yeah, we figured that one out a long time ago. So she gets pregnant on accident, and at the time I had all these ideas of like I was right in this transitional period of my career where I could start applying to special operations units like the Ranger Regiment. That one had kind of started to weigh a little bit more on my mind just because of the perception that I got from a lot of other officers was that that's even more of the bureaucracy and less and less of so
where do I sign up?
Yeah. So and then again, I had some ideation of maybe going SF, and my girlfriend gets pregnant, and I just all of a sudden that changes quite a bit. It changes my entire life plan at that point because I just knew immediately, and I think I knew immediately that I had to marry her and at least try to make, a normal family unit out of, this young
now,
woman.
was it obligation that like, I'm supposed to do the right thing here?
I felt morally obligated because of the people in my life who had demonstrated those family values that I looked up to. And I thought, all the father figures, my actual father, my grandfather, these men that I all looked up to, I thought would have done this.
Okay.
And it didn't feel forced or anything like that. It felt like a challenge that like, this is the right thing to do. It might not be the best thing for, your current plan, but the people who you respect and whose respect you seek in life would do this. So I married her, and we just decided like, hey, let's just make it work. And if it doesn't, we can always get divorced. But at least
that's true.
At least we would have a child. We would have our son without, going into medical debt or anything like that. So I had health insurance at the time through the Army. It just made logical sense. And we've grown much closer together over the time that we've been married, just naturally and organically. Like the more you live with someone, the more life experiences you share with them.
That's how it goes.
You bond. Yeah. So we've definitely been fortunate. And we had another child in March of 2020.
Chose this one.
All
right. Now we're talking.
Yeah. So we're doing okay.
Your adult level has ramped up so much.
It's a lot. Yeah. But you asked me, so when you asked me at the beginning of this, how am I doing? And I always think, man, I'm doing pretty fair. I'm doing better than some and not as well as others.
Sure.
But the things that matter in my life and the things that matter to me, my wife loving me and likewise me reciprocating that, genuinely to her, and our kids being healthy and happy, and us loving the neighborhood we live in and the life that we live together. Those things are all going really well. And there are other parts of my life that I sacrificed to have that. And sometimes I still struggle with that, even though I know that's
but that's what you chose.
That I chose the right thing. At the time that I was being tested, I passed, and I continue to make the right decision, I think. But it seeps in every once in a while. Like, man, I could have done this, or I could have done that. Like if it had just been different. And so like sometimes
that's
you even
such a weird game though, dude. The what if thing.
Yeah,
like the what if
it's
thing
not
is such
healthy.
but so it's not healthy. I found kind of an interesting way I look at those things.
I would love to hear that, because I know, having given up strongman at one point, at 2 points in my life, having given up bodybuilding recently for various reasons. One of them was really because of.
Is it mostly time constraint?
No, it's some introspection and self-reflection. I just thought, like, I'm not setting the example that
right on.
I would want my kids to emulate. And it's easy to just say, hey, guys, don't do this. But like,
Yeah, but man,
you know,
but
when you say that and you're doing it,
it doesn't work that way.
No, that's not leadership. That's just
yep.
poor,
That's just
poor
talking.
management. It's just talking.
We do a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's being a politician.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that for my kids. So I think having your perspective on it as an athlete that had to transition away voluntarily, choosing to
Well, not so much voluntarily choosing.
involuntarily for some things and voluntarily for others, because you transitioned out of strongman voluntarily.
Well, I went to one I was better at. You did. it made sense. It's not like I left the thing I was great at to pursue my heart.
Yeah.
No, it's like I was way better at the other sport.
Yeah. But you dealt with that ego.
Yeah, I've dealt with it.
hit.
I've dealt with the
And
ego
that
hit. I've dealt with the identity
change.
of it. And I've dealt with it feels like compromise.
Mm-hmm.
That you make a compromise at one point, right? And for me, I look at now, like I really like the concept of kind of the multiverse and the infinite timelines and those type of things. And so I don't ever look at anything anymore as imagine if I would have just done this, because then there becomes this weird comparison and you're comparing timelines when in fact they just both exist. They're not a comparison. This is the one you're on. So make your timeline as much fun as you want within your things. And now it's fun to imagine the others, but they're just different. They're not better or worse. They're only better or worse depending on your current want and desire. Right? And so if you have moments of wanting this other thing, just fantasize about the timeline.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And imagine where it would go and what the greatest things that could happen, and hope that the you that's on that timeline is living it. And I like that feeling that like, if there's a version out of me there that's doing that, fucking A. Good
Like
for him.
he's crushing it.
Okay. There's definitely there's a version of me out there whose knee didn't go shitty. There's also one out there who never got to compete in anything. And I hope he figured it out too. With as much that's changed, like within my life, especially in the last 10 years, it's been really weird because I feel like I've lived different, really, really different chapters, especially like having a full marriage and building a house and building I felt like I had reached the end of a road. But road, it's not right. Like I could just see how the whole thing played out, I guess. And it feels like a completely different life than what I'm living. But I'm aware of it, and I'm aware that it was mine.
Yeah.
But it feels more third person now than it feels mine. And that's in a relatively fucking short time.
Yeah, I mean, that
like
was
3 years.
Yeah. That
It's
was
a very
less
different
than 10
life.
years ago. That was 5
Yeah.
5,
And
6
then
years ago.
now I'm 5+ years out of competing. I haven't competed. I've done a couple things that are competitive, but nah, it ain't the same as fucking doing your thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
ain't the
absolutely.
That feels weird. It feels the same way I think now, like looking back at, like there's still whispers of me, at least within Highland Games. That like,
Trying to come
and by those
back or
whispers,
something.
not like that, but like some of the guys still competed with me.
And still, like,
Like
trade
there's still like a
stories.
1 degree separation of like me being existing in the sport.
Yeah, there's still Matt Vincent stories going around.
Yeah, whereas in 5 years, there's not.
Right. Yeah.
There
turnover.
absolutely won't be and fucking shouldn't be.
Right.
And so there's just different chapters. And I'm always excited about the chapter coming. And I'm not trying to hold on to the one that was anymore.
Sure.
Another thing that I've talked about as goals change and things like that. Another one is I'm not trying to compete against my old ghost.
Yeah.
I'm not in competition with that guy. He's me.
Right.
We're the same person. We did those things. And so like the idea that like, I'll never have another lifting PR. And this is just the easiest example of it, right? I'll never have one. Okay. Like the goal was I wanted to see how fucking strong I could be. I found those metrics. I don't have to hold them for them to count. I don't have to constantly make progress only in that realm and not the rest of my life for those to still be valuable things I did.
and the tools that you got along the way. That
I've brought with me.
exactly. Those are the ones that you're going to keep.
Yeah,
and
man, I can grind.
Right.
Right? Like that's the fucking thing that's the big unlock that comes from all of this. It's I can grind. I can do it when no one gives a shit. I can show up when no one cares, and I can show up every day. I can throw in a field by myself
When it's pissing rain.
and watch videos of myself that day to correct form and figure out how to write practice again for tomorrow. Like I know that I can fucking grind, right? And so that confidence
emanates throughout your
for
entire
everything.
life.
I know and I trust that Matt Vincent fucking performs when he says to.
Yep.
And that one's the one that fixes everything. But I got it there. And I think you can get it in different places, right? And so I got to take those tools forward. I'm not at 40 now wondering or bitter or thinking about, fuck, man, a couple more years of Highland Games.
Do you think the competitors that we competed with that weren't gamers, do you think they have those same tools?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Would your audience would understand what a gamer is? I would
Yeah.
imagine. Like somebody that
people
just shows
that
up
shows
on
up,
the
right?
day
The
and
thing is, like, by the point
crushes.
that I got to, which would be like the top level of my thing, the top 10 dudes are all gamers.
Yes.
Like you don't get to the stage without fucking being able to show up when it counts.
Right.
And so those guys that, train like Tarzan and compete like Jane, like they don't make it to the professional level.
They probably don't. And if they do, they just, they
flounder.
Yeah.
Or you run into, there's a couple different type of competitors to me. There's that guy that crazy in the gym, can't do it with the light on him. There's another guy who's a bully. And these are always fascinating competitors to me, that if they got ahead, they'll fucking run away with it.
Ooh. Yeah.
But if they're challenged,
then they
panic.
falter. Yeah.
Yeah, so as long as they had a lead,
No,
they're
sir.
fucking untouchable.
No.
But man, that confidence is fragile.
You're the kind of guy that and I'm the same way. If the chips are down and it takes the next 3 events for you to win the overall contest, you have to place like second or first in these next 3.
That's where I'm happy.
That's where we're going to thrive.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
like, not
gamer.
only that,
That's
like
a
I wanted to
gamer.
be confident in that ability, that if you're competing against me, you should be nervous.
Yeah.
Like until we're done.
put baby-
like, yeah. Until we're done.
Put baby in a corner and see what she does.
Yeah. And I've always liked that. And I've
Yeah.
always felt that I was fortunate to already have some of that. It naturally came. But I did find it a skill that I could work on.
It gets you into a flow state. Like that's
it's
what it
flow
is.
state. But I remember, so I would take practice and work on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, what I thought about that was like the typical competition for me is I get 2 throws to warm up, give or take fucking around.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have 3 competition throws. And so like on my Thursday practices in the season, that's how it worked. I got 5 fucking throws. And I want to be 100% confident that I can hit my big throw in 5 throws. I leave after 5. You take 5 per event and fucking go home. And so you train for that. You train for that ability to be able to say, we fucking do it now. And like, that's a fucking cool blade to sharpen if you can figure it out. Yeah. So like, man, I don't look back at any of the things about like what ifs, especially if I'm happy.
Yeah, and you seem pretty happy.
I am now.
You seem super content with.
Yeah, I am.
plans.
There was a period where I wasn't,
Sure.
and was just a lot on top of itself. And the real victim that came of that was my marriage, of just me being really unhappy. And it just too much, broke everything. Man, that guy was in a real struggle. And even in that state, right? Like there was a lot of just that fight or flight sensation of like right kind of toward the end of your limit of knowing how to handle emotionally and deal with everything and being stressed out and like, is this the right move? And there's always this double questioning and all of it. And for me, I couldn't stay there anymore. And so I just knew that I had to make a different decision than whatever that feeling was. So I hit the detonate button.
Yeah. Change the game.
Change
it.
And I have found a couple really cool benefits that come from that.
You got to feel more resilient. You have to feel like you can, pick it up.
It's the hardest thing I've ever decided to do.
Absolutely.
Was that decision, and I was in a really bad spot. And the real trouble is that I was in a really bad spot, but I really loved my wife.
Yeah.
I loved her as a person. This was my best friend.
You didn't want to hurt her. You didn't.
No, and because I was really unhappy, I was shitty.
Yeah.
And having that talk of this, it's over, and I knew it.
Yeah.
And I made the decision, and that was really hard. And what's come from that is a confidence and an accountability to myself of like, we won't ever skip out on a hard situation again.
Don't prolong it.
No
Don't
fucking
put it
way.
off.
Because it's disrespectful to that one.
Yeah.
If you're willing to fucking do that one, anything else is okay.
Yeah. You've already walked through the deepest swamp.
That's it.
Yeah. You might as well take it moving forward.
And you're not always the fucking good guy in hard conversations.
Never.
And they still have to happen. Own your shit and apologize. Try to be better next time, Yeah, man, it's taken time. It's taken time to be happy, and like it's a fucking moving target. Like I know in generally speaking, everything is going toward the big picture items that make me happy, right? Which is what you talked about, which is your family, kids, and how that they would perceive you as a leader, father figure.
Yeah.
Those type of things, right? These are, if you have a compass, it always has to at least be going that way.
Yes. Yeah.
Whatever that's also fit into that. Great.
Right. That's the azimuth now that I've chosen to guide my decision making, and it's like the policy by which I check every decision that I make that impacts my life or my family's life. And I think just the mood, the somber mood from being at a funeral, from for a gentleman who significantly impacted my life, and the introspection that comes with considering how short life can be.
It is indeed.
makes makes me think more about I did make the right decision at the time to marry my wife, and that ultimately competing in bodybuilding wasn't a good thing for me or for my family
Long term.
Yeah. Not just for the health reasons, but because it's not the example of
Now, what part of it?
Really the thing that bothered me a lot about it as a father, more so to a female than it did as a father to a male, because I wasn't really aware or critical of it until I became a father to my daughter Celeste.
Okay.
It was right around March 30th of 2020 was the day she was born, and my son, obviously this is like the beginning of the pandemic. There's
a lot going on.
A lot going on. Everybody's shut in. Really, truly, it was a phenomenal time to have a baby because, like,
sure, you're both home. Fucking hey,
stuck at home anyway. So fortunate in that regard. And I was still bodybuilding, and I see my son just like flexing in the mirror and doing stuff that I'm doing, and I start to think more and more about it. And then the more time I'm at home working remotely, the more I see how much he models my behaviors.
Ooh.
And the more I start to think, these are not things that I want either of my kids, especially my
Because
daughter.
at this point, he may not even be choosing interest in those. He's just modeling.
He's not.
Right.
There's no way.
He's not at the wheel.
He's 3,
Yeah,
4
yeah.
years old now. I mean, it's not like he's actively like thinks bodybuilding is cool. It's because he
Dad
lives
doesn't.
with Superman in his eyes.
Right.
And Superman is anything.
Well, he doesn't know
Superman does.
paragliding exists.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
he doesn't
yeah,
have
think-
anything else
right.
to compare it to other than what you bring into the house.
Dude, Dad is the coolest guy to anybody who's 3, 4, 5, 6 years
Sure.
old. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm his whole world right now. And what he sees and what my daughters see are going to be traits that are going to be instilled in them for much longer than I would care to be instilled in them if it's a mistake, if it's a bad thing. And if they are good things, I'll be thankful for it.
Sure.
Right? So there are plenty of good things about bodybuilding, specifically as a sport, that I find are useful, like consistency, you know, the awareness of like what you're consuming and what you're putting in your body as far as food goes, as far as supplements go. Like those are all good things. The things that I don't like about it are you're training for something that's subjective, not only
Very strange.
for your own subjectivity, but for another person's judgment
Of your
for-
body.
of your body.
Yeah.
Right. And the image issues that come with it. I mean, and I'm a pretty confident person. Like I've done hard things with my life that I can, you know, hang my hat on and be proud of, that any number of people would be ecstatic having accomplished, you know. And this is not like, again, this is, you know, there are quite a few things that I have built my ego on that I've accomplished, that any one of them I could be proud of. But
Yeah.
there are pieces of those things that there are negatives to each one of them, right? Like ultimately, like what are you really training for when you're becoming, you know, an Army Ranger? Like, dude, you're literally an expert in leading soldiers to kill other people.
Yep.
Right? Like, let's not boil it down past
No,
that.
that's
Like,
what it is. That's the job.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are some negative things about that as a parent, maybe you don't really want to be juicing it up for your kids like that. Like,
Sure.
hey, this is super cool, guys. Like,
Right.
you
I
should
guess
have abs year round. And this is what's important, is that you look a certain way, you carry yourself in a way that, you know, others respect you for.
I can
this.
I can definitely see, right? Like with the body image issues that we're more aware of now.
And it's getting worse.
Especially
it's getting worse by the day.
women,
Yeah,
everything, right?
for sure. That was a big driver behind that decision. And, you know, ultimately I started to realize, like, man, I have just gone from one, I don't know if it's a distraction or what, but it's one challenge to the next physically as a way to, especially at points in my life where I was stressed or that I didn't feel like I had control in some of those facets of life, that I was losing control. I hyper fixated
Of course.
on the things that I could control. And I became, I would say, engulfed in them.
You find that a negative?
I think it is. I think it's more of a negative now. When I retrospectively, I think it's a negative. I think it's a protection mechanism for my ego.
It is for sure not dealing with something else.
Yes.
You are
Yeah.
choosing to avoid a thing.
Yeah. So I think for me personally,
But I don't disagree that having the ability to focus on the things you can control during hard times is a very valuable tool.
that's true. I would say the skill to do that is great.
Yes, the knowing when to push the button.
The application of it in my case was probably less appropriate than great. It was probably more of a misuse of that skill.
So along
Yeah.
those lines, right? And so and how you're feeling about it introspective wise, and so you're 10 years younger than me, right? So you're 27,
am.
28,
I'm 31.
31. Okay, so you're not quite 10 years.
Yeah.
So like during all this, man, and one of the really hard things that's come from going forward with what I've tried to do with my life, and whether that's more self-discovery, more self-awareness, any of those things. And one of the pieces that's come from exploring that has been empathy. And whether that's empathy for other people, which I didn't have much of. I imagine you can understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's also empathy for me. That one's tricky. Is that...
Yeah, because that can be perceived as selfishness sometimes.
But there is an empathy to being able to say, you're doing the best you did with the tools you had. And so not... Like, while you're pursuing bodybuilding, right? And it's easy to look at it and be like, fuck, I don't want this to be perceived as XYZ. Like the negative traits that you can see now as someone who's been in it and on the other side of it in hindsight. Mm-hmm. You don't have to think that that's the only way it can be perceived, right? Like, it can always be perceived by the sides of it that you're promoting. And as I imagine that's what you'll do. I think what you're probably saying is that the less you'll take a bit less of an extreme approach to it.
For sure.
I don't see you going dad bod and stopping lifting and not giving a fuck about your food.
Man, fuck a dad bod. I'm all about that father figure.
Father figure.
Instead of dad bod. No, man, I think
whoever coined that fucking killed it.
Yeah, that guy. No, yeah, I've just got different training goals now. I mean, I train, I again, like I'm using my, my own personal policy is, what would I want my kids to be seeing me do? Mm-hmm. Lifting is definitely still a part of that.
Okay.
Because it's been so valuable to me. Training hard and being devoted to physical goals, definitely still a part of it. I love getting under the bar to squat. I love getting outside to run sprints. I mean, I love, I'm very rarely is somebody leaving off the mat after me. It's usually me or another person, and we're like the last two there to roll. And it's not because I don't genuinely enjoy it. Like, I like being there. It's not like it's a competition to see who can stay there the latest during rolls. It's like
you love it.
I just like going hard and pursuing, the strategy behind, rolls and like,
You also like the feeling of spent.
Yes, that's a very addictive feeling.
It's a very good feeling of like earned rest.
Yes, yeah, because then it makes the rest of my,
everything's easy afterwards, man. Once you've paid.
Not only that, yeah.
Like the same reason I come and do this hour of cardio in the morning and here in the morning. Like, whether I'm by myself, and it's not always hard, but I'm fucking drenched.
Some days are hard. Some days are harder than others.
And some days the hard part is showing up. And it's never fucking hard to walk.
5 minutes in, and then it starts to get easier and easier.
Longer than that.
Sometimes 10 minutes.
15, 20. I've been to 45 before and still like, fuck am I doing here?
Another 15 minutes, I'm done with this bullshit.
But I've never finished.
And driven home and been disappointed.
Been like, well, that was a fucking waste.
Never.
No, it's never a waste.
Never.
Dude. The effort's always good. The energy. Like, one of the things I'm really trying to work on awareness of is really the way my brain works. Now, whether or not I'm smart enough to do that, who knows? But like, I'm very aware of the ADD and ADHD tendencies I have. Diagnosed as it as a kid and tried to get on medication and never did.
Same here.
Right.
I was on medication for a few years, but yeah,
I didn't. I never took it. My parents tried to get me or my mom tried to get me on Ritalin, and because I was disruptive in class and fucking dick. I just never took it. I didn't like it. And so, now that I've gotten older, the big thing that I realized that I've taken away from it is I don't have an ability to not focus. I have an ability to not focus on things I don't give a shit about.
Absolutely.
And so, for me, I don't lie to myself about the truth of that anymore. And so I just don't ask myself to give a shit about stuff I don't.
You didn't when I first met you.
No, I just can't.
And neither did Rob when I met him at 15. And that's what I mean by the impact, the positive impact that you both have had on my life, is that you had the wherewithal to know deep down, genuinely, authentically know what you wanted, and to go after it with total disregard for anything to stop you.
Yeah, I don't know how smart it's always been, but here we are. And I know that I'm not here without that.
Correct.
I've been really lucky in a lot of instances, and I've also got to work really hard at it. But also like that, when that obsession switch flips, I wasn't in control of it younger. I'm getting better at it now.
There are a few people that are asking me, like pushing me to consider competing regularly in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I am vehemently opposed to it for that one reason.
Because they don't understand.
They don't get it.
Did you watch any of the Mike Tyson with Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Did you see the first time he came on and he's chubby and he's fucking smoking pot and talking about Toad and all this shit, right? That is a vast, and he's talking to Joe about like that switch. And the next time he comes on and he's talking about the Roy fight, that switch has been flipped.
He's back in it.
And like
100%.
You can hear him telling Joe and them, like the first time he's in, he's like, I know me. I know when that flips.
Everything changes.
Nothing fucking matters anymore.
No.
The rest of it can all burn to the fucking ground and I won't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's easy to go right back to that.
And it's very, very valuable. And it's self-aware. And it's selfless to know you have that thing.
To have it and actively try to not use it.
Right. So in one of the same ways that I found it really, really empowering to know that I hit the detonate button on not being happy. That means I can't ever pretend that there isn't a detonate button anymore. And so anytime that now I'm doing a thing that I'm unhappy or I don't like or any of these type of things, I have to say I'm here because I want to be.
But that's not a free-for-all for just hedonism.
No,
I mean, clearly,
no, because there's
just
consequences.
Otherwise you just be fucking eating ice cream all day.
Sure. That's consequences for my actions, right?
Yeah.
I also am aware that part of what pays my bills is looking the way I do. And I signed up for this job. No one fucking issued it to me.
True.
Them's the rules. So I was going to stay in shape.
Got to, man.
That's kind of how it fucking goes. But I also believe it.
Yeah.
It isn't a fucking work. Like, I believe that taking care of this machine benefits fucking all of it.
Bleeds over into every other area of your life.
Everything.
Right.
Because this thing's going to fall apart. It's fucking built to.
Yeah, nothing lasts forever, especially the human body.
No, and man, I haven't been nice to it. Beat the shit out of it. But I beat the shit out of everything I own. I haven't treated anything any different than how I treat my body. I want it to perform, and I'm going to smash into the sides of it until it does so. And it's the older you get, you just find the different limitations on it. Like, I can't do what I used to do.
No, but that's like
dude, I would have made fun of what my training looks like, or like I just can't anymore because I'm fucking beat up.
Dude, or an active recovery day. Could you imagine?
Most of my days are fucking active recovery days at this point. That's all my training really is.
Could you imagine? I mean, honestly, we've gotten a lot smarter and with programming and everything like that these days.
What I've gotten better at is nutrition. That's the only thing that I've really consistently gotten better at. Is I realize that is such a bigger piece of the puzzle than whatever I do in here.
Man, the trifecta of lifting, eating right, and recovery, and how many layers recovery has in it with regard to like appropriate rest, different recovery modalities, supplementation. Yeah,
it's like, but if you're not training
hard, if you're not training hard and you're not getting
then the rest
right
of it
nutrients,
the rest of the layers of the recovery don't matter.
Each corner of that trifecta, that triumvirate depends on the other two. Like it assumes the other two is being done optimally.
Yep.
Right. So if you're not training hard, then there is no point to eat right. And there is no point to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Right. So it's easy to start to like let that spiral out of control. And vice versa. If you're training hard and eating right, like, why not just make an effort to get a little bit more sleep and get to bed on time instead of watch, that 3rd or 4th episode of Squid Game? Like,
and like even
fucking great show. It's a great show. It's a great show.
Even in that, like, that trifecta you're talking about of attributes, and the different layers to them, like they all have the different layers, right? Like whether the
Multiple.
training is, first layer of training is like, can you just show up 5 days a week? I don't
Yeah.
even give a shit
If
what
you
you
could
do.
squat with a barbell,
just show
right?
up 5 days a week and
Yeah.
do anything in there is better than nothing.
Right.
And then we can dive deeper into focus, right?
West Side methodologies.
Yeah, of course.
You
Or
get
what
into
barbell you're
programming.
using,
Yeah,
for fuck's sake.
right.
Or start getting into tempo reps and how that,
Right.
or nutrient timing, a further layer
Yeah.
to all these things. Or gear. Or running gear,
Man,
right?
Gear is
There's
one that is.
I was thinking about that, right?
It's a scary one because what you're saying about food is hard for a lot of people. With gear, I think it's exponentially harder.
to get right, or
Not only to get right, absolutely to get right. It is very hard for people to get gear right because it is not as straightforward as nutrition. And
No.
you and I both know nutrition is not, cut and dry for everybody.
there are some rules that apply globally.
Yeah.
One of those is if you'd like to gain weight or lose weight, it's
More
simply,
calories
it's
or less
calories. That's
calories.
it. That
Right.
is fucking global.
Exactly. So those things, and then like trying to, with the juxtaposition between like nutrients and gear, I would say is looking at finding the macronutrient breakdown that you feel the best on,
feel
or that
the
your
best.
digestion is the best on, right? That you're, comfortable eating
and then
in a
not only
surplus
that,
or
like-
comfortable eating in a deficit.
And then figuring that out, and then figure out which fruits make that up the best, or what
Yeah.
foods make up that the best weight.
Right.
Is it red meat for you? Is it light? Is it lower fat red meat? Then you need to supplement the fat somewhere else. Like
Right. Yeah. You have to.
your
There's
own
a
machine is a different thing.
there is a lot of titration that you have to do with that. There's a lot of field experimentation that you need to do with a diet to find the one that is optimal for you. With gear use, it's even harder, and there's the feedback is less real time, right?
Well, and it's a little trickier to get. You can't just order
Yeah.
from Schnucks.
True. So, like, if you're going to take X compound, I mean, you might have to wait 5 weeks, 4 weeks before it really elevates
That
some
was one of the
dangerous
fucking
things.
issues I had about taking growth.
Yes.
And like, man, I took a lot of growth trying to fix my knee.
Yeah.
Just like fucking anything I
Try
could
to
to
get type
mitigate.
2
Yo, I
and
will
type 3
try it.
collagen synthesis back up.
And it never did. I never noticed anything magical from it.
But if you were to eat brown rice instead of white rice, you could not just this, for example, arbitrary.
Yeah.
You would feel the difference.
Yep.
Right. If you ate brown rice for a meal in the middle of the day and it made you kind of like it sat in your stomach a little weird, you would know immediately like, hey, I'm not going to do that tonight because I got a heavy squat workout or something.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
fuck with that.
Yeah. Maybe McDonald's isn't the way.
Yeah. Maybe we can make some better
It's
choices.
weird that it is for a while because you can just get away with anything, but that's just the beauty of being young.
Yeah. True. Being
And
young,
then,
having a
and then
crazy
the
fast
further down the
metabolism.
rabbit hole you go, the more it matters.
Right. That's right.
Unless you're just trying to get really big and strong. And then you can just eat whatever you want.
Eat whatever you want and just blast gear.
Did
and
you ever do that?
eat whatever I wanted?
Yeah, just fuck it. Did you ever try to get strong that way and just like,
no, I never did it for longer than like a set period of time, like a day.
okay,
Like
so no.
it's
It's a fucking
like
no.
a dirty bulk. No, never. Nothing like that.
Dirty bulk. I'm just talking about living,
You're like,
son.
that's my
Ain't no
life,
fucking
dog.
time limit on the end of this.
Like that's an offensive term you just
Fucking
called my
cheat
life,
months.
sir.
fucking
It's
like
not
once a week going to Taco Bell and hammering out $25 worth of just trash.
yeah, I would say it's a cheat meal. That's not a
Cheat meals.
cheat months
cheat
Dude,
month.
just living.
or years.
I remember, fuck it. Yeah. There's plenty of time where I just
No,
didn't
I'm
give a
the
shit.
worst person to talk to about
I know.
diet stuff.
Like, I
So-
know you're a total robot
Yeah.
since you've basically been in high school.
Yeah,
Walking
from-
around with these abs all day for no reason.
Man,
Fuck
from
no.
an early and dude, this is a perfect example of the person who introduced me to sports nutrition ate like that,
Right.
right? So I cut my teeth like that. That's it can't be understated enough, right? And for anybody who's listening, I like your audience, just think about your interactions with people and be present in your interactions and understand that they have long-lasting consequences for better or for
Yeah.
worse. Because the people that I cut my teeth on nutrition with, that I cut my teeth on lifting with, that I started to become self-aware of my ability to change my environment, they've impacted my life from literally the point that it happened until now, like 15 years old to now. Longer than half of my life has been spent pursuing, a stronger squat, a faster run time, or more pull-ups, or some physical goal that nutrition has played a part in, and that supplementation has played a part in, and that being a student of the game has played a part in, like learning and actively finding a strategy that I can deploy that gives me an advantage over other people that are also competing with me,
right,
in or against this hobby that that I'm an enthusiast of. It matters so much to realize, not only for your own benefit, but for those around you who are going to be following your example just from modeling. Like I'm talking about with my kids, the way I model for my son, every day he sees me doing something that if I don't think that's what I would want him to be doing when he's in his 20s or 30s, like I shouldn't be doing it.
Well, and I mean, I think it's easy to look at like this heavy weight of the responsibility of what you're doing and how your kid's seeing it.
Yeah.
I look at like the mechanism of why these things are so important, because your kid at 3, like think about how many days he's had. Not a lot, like 1,000.
Right.
Right. And so like every day is a pretty big percentage of his life experience, whereas they're less
The
at
older
40.
you get. Yeah. Yeah.
They'll be less at 60. Every day's a smaller percentage of the total time. And so it has less of an impact, or
Sure.
could.
No, absolutely. I think absolutely it has a lower potential effect.
I mean,
So-
it's why kids cry over spilled milk. It's literally the worst thing they've ever experienced. They don't have another frame of reference to losing their long-term pet. They don't know at 3.
Hopefully they don't have anything
Well, at
worse
3,
than
they
that.
don't know. You haven't been around for a whole animal's lifetime. You can't.
True.
You can experience sadness, but it's not the same.
Right. That.
And so, like, kind of comes with age, right? Like the good and the bad of the experience and what gets shaped. And I do think that matters, right? Like I remember growing up and thinking different things just based on actions my parents had. I didn't think anything of smoking, but I knew that I didn't want to smoke.
Did your parents smoke?
My dad did.
Your dad did.
Yeah, my dad smoked and then smoked cigars, and then there's still cigars around. So I haven't smoked one in a long time, but they're always around, oddly enough.
Do you like the smell of cigars? My
I
dad
do.
used to smoke cigars, and I still
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the smell of them.
Yeah, I like the idea of it.
Yeah,
I don't like the way it makes my mouth feel the next day, and I don't like the way it makes this room stink if we sit in here and smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
It'll fucking stink for 2 weeks. I can smoke fucking joints like a goddamn chimney and
And it's
never
no
stinks
problem.
in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking tobacco.
Different smell.
Yeah. And I think about that. I think about Dad drank a lot. Wasn't a drunk, but like, had beers every single night.
Frequently.
Yeah. Like always had 3 or 4 beers every night, and had a beer driving around town in the evening or going to the grocery store. And like, I think about the casualness of that. I think about how casually I feel about firearms and guns because I grew up in a house where we had them. I don't think anything of them.
Right.
I don't think of them any fucking different in my home than the hammer.
Yeah. It's a tool.
It's a different thing. It doesn't have a soul or an opinion or an agenda. It does a job.
And it's the way it's applied that is what makes.
Yeah, you can misuse a hammer too.
Absolutely. Just look at the other day, somebody was going, what was a bow and arrow attack just happened in the Netherlands? Did you see that?
Yeah, man.
Crazy. So yeah,
And that's its own fucking whole conversation
way
about
different,
guns,
but
but
yeah.
whatever.
The point being, you had parents that made an impression on you while you were growing up.
And the stuff that now looking back, I can realize that like, I took note of that, but I didn't consciously take note of it.
Yeah, it was just you were exposed to it.
And I don't believe my parents were aware of that When you know what I mean? Like the fact
Yeah.
that you are is a head start.
So I say that I am, but I'm still susceptible to sometimes
Well,
like,
fucking of course,
everybody's
man.
fallible. Like it's not like 100% of the time I'm like, oh my God, they're looking at me and I got to
Dude,
do.
I did something the other night and it was with Bonnie. I realized like I had said something and I was shitty.
Yeah.
Like in a way I responded and I remember like it wasn't 2 minutes after I said it, I'm like, yo, I'm really sorry I responded that way.
Yeah.
I was really shitty about this. And that was a reflection of something earlier that didn't go the way that I wanted it to. And for some reason I'm taking it out on you and that's not cool.
Yeah. Shit. And
And
you
like-
don't deserve that. Yeah.
Younger me wouldn't have corrected it. Right?
Would younger you have even noticed it?
Exactly. Wouldn't have corrected it. I would have just thought this is me dealing with blah, blah, blah. And then I would have stuck by
But you
it.
would you have even known that
Never.
Okay.
I would have never ever felt
you'd have just been
a
sour?
second way. Like, fuck yeah, this is how, fuck you, you're wrong.
Yeah. You'd have just been sour and
Yeah, and
been
then
okay with
just
it.
shitty to them and then somehow made it their fault that I was shitty to them.
Yeah.
Or that really this thing that I'm being shitty about was a reflection of that and not a lack of communication,
Right.
which is typically what it always is. It's a lack of communicating like, hey, earlier, blah, blah, blah. I could have just said a thing.
Right.
So younger me would have just totally fucking blown it off and then held my guns. And like that would have been part of me still feeling as a strong male, right? Like
Right.
that would have made me feel a bit more masculine, more alpha, more not tolerating bullshit, more blah, 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 blah. And the fucking older I've gotten, like I'm now faster at correcting that fuck up by realizing that, don't get me wrong, if there's a problem, it's fine. But I'm pretty good now at realizing if I've misplaced the energy, right?
Okay.
That like, oh, I lashed out. Nothing to do with this. This is just a fucking energy loop that had to get out, and I'm sorry it hit you. I should have fucking handled this better.
Yeah. I could do better about that.
Yep.
I think we all can.
Yeah, of
That's-
course. And I'm really aware of it now. And I catch it really fast, like
Yeah.
damn near of like I've finished, and then I'm like, I'm really fucking sorry,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What I'm hoping is at some point we'll just skip over the part where I have to be shitty, and I can just immediately go to like, got it.
Yeah. 50s, 60s, Matt.
Maybe,
he's gonna
man.
have his shit
Maybe,
together,
right? But what
no doubt.
what I'm saying is because you're already aware of the things you're doing and how they affect the person, and you're looking at it at these other levels, like you're on the course.
Man,
There's no there,
yeah.
but you can't ever turn that back off.
No, you can't. Yeah, once you become aware of it, you
No.
It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a part of the game now. There's something that is that just I think the sacrifice that I've made or that I feel I've made with my own life that bothers me is I pursued this goal with going into the Army as an officer, and I felt like that there was a real sense of purpose and behind that decision, and I wanted to go lead soldiers in combat, and I became a little disenfranchised with the bureaucracy and the competition to stay at work the latest.
Sure.
I didn't appreciate that. I felt like it was not what I was sold. I thought I was sold on a different,
Yeah.
something different and a different idea. And I became bitter about that. And I think it drew me back into really focusing on strength sports and really focusing on
Well, it's comfortable.
I reverted.
You know
back.
all the rules there.
I reverted back to like just that hyper focus on something that makes you, that you built your ego up on once before. And
I find that interesting, right? So what you're saying is, you basically became disenfranchised by the experience
yeah,
of it not meeting the expectations that you thought were there going
dude,
into
and
it, right?
it's not just, and I don't want to cut you off. It's happening again in my life right now as a civilian.
Okay.
And it bothers me because I see this recurring pattern of like, okay, I got out of the Army because I became disenfranchised with the bureaucracy, and I didn't feel like my time was being spent fulfilling the purpose that I was told it would be. And I didn't appreciate that. And then I get out and I just decide I'm going to be a civilian. I'm going to pursue, X career and, just make enough money to be comfortable, be spending time with my wife and kids, making memories. And man, that lack of purpose as a civilian or, I don't know, like it feels so bad to me sometimes whenever I think about, man, I have so many things that people would kill for. Like I've got a healthy marriage that my wife adores me. I love her.
That's not
my
how
kids are
fucking
healthy.
comparison works.
No, yeah, and I don't want. It's weird. It's not like I'm.
You can still have gratitude.
Yeah.
For all the things you want, but not content.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between complacency and like being happy. Like I'm fucking never complacent.
No, you're not. You're
but
constantly
I'm happy.
moving. Yeah.
And what comes with that is I'm aware that wherever I'm at is because that's where I chose to be. Right. And
yeah.
Same for you.
It is true. Yeah. It is a fact.
The same for you.
I voluntarily separated and became a civilian in the summer of 18. And
so is there part of you that wants to do the military again?
Man, I've strongly reconsidered and even pursued at different points, possibly going back in.
So here's my just questions for you then. Has any of the bullshit that disenfranchised you on it, the bureaucracy, changed?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not whatsoever.
Is it okay knowing that you know the game and now you're entering it, knowing that this is what it is, you're not allowed to be bitter by it. You can't be mad at it if you willingly walked back in the room.
Yeah, I don't know if I could honestly say that would be the case. But I think I would still be.
You can challenge it, and you can continually try to fight against it. Yeah. I'm not saying give in.
Yeah.
But this is the machine.
Correct.
And you know that going in, pretending it isn't, is doing a disservice to the experience you got.
It could be the same reason why when I wasn't fulfilled being an officer in the Army, and I thought I would be, why I reverted back to competing, taking competition seriously.
Well, it's back to a thing that all of the success or failure is in your hands.
Yeah.
It's not it's not politics and bureaucratic
it's more
part
of a
it,
meritocracy, right? And I think that's a driving factor, between that is pushing me to want to go into either one of the 3-letter agencies or maybe go back in active duty. So that's that purpose.
Okay, so why wouldn't you? Like if that voice is starting to creep up.
Yeah, it's been creeping up for a while. I think I'm just not. I don't get that same sense of enjoyment out of the pursuit of just most civilian careers. I feel like are
okay.
The financial gain is like the main motivator.
All right. And so now that you've said this,
man, money just doesn't matter at the where I am at financially with my investments.
And, cool. So now that you know that, do the one you want.
Yeah.
And if this is what you want, and now's the time that makes sense to return to it, cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's nothing. Change gears. You're allowed.
I know.
When's the time to plant a tree, man? Do you know what I mean? Like every fucking day that you're not.
Yeah.
At least if nothing else, start it's not something that has to be cold turkey, right? Like which you don't have to just bail on civilian life cold turkey. Just start opening the door to this other thing and see what happens. Just allow it. Allow the opportunity to maybe take some interviews, maybe look into what is available. Where would that put you guys? Where would station be? And, how do you guys want to address and approach that with your kids? The moving, and then, explaining that this is life experience, that this is getting well-rounded, this is education.
Right.
That you value that well-rounded side that comes from varied life experience of living in different places. Or that dad needs a fucking purpose.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with admitting that. I don't see.
Yeah, but what does that say about, this is what I hate when I talk to my wife about it sometimes, because I've opened up with her.
Sure.
We've got a pretty strong relationship.
I'm super glad for it.
Yeah,
it's tough when you don't.
Yeah, where I've told her, like, man, I hate that I feel that what I have, nice home, nice neighborhood,
No.
decent career,
So
family, like
other people who
who
don't have what you have,
yeah,
say that should be enough. Fuck them. It isn't. That's okay.
I definitely need to be challenged.
And it's okay to say
that purpose.
This isn't enough. I wasn't interested in fucking taking second place.
Never.
Right? And so why would that carry over to this? And so, are you familiar with the book, The Four Agreements?
I'm not.
It's good. Short, easy read. And Four Agreements. One of the four is always do your best. And it's just 4 agreements that you make with yourself at pursuing your interest, which you only have X amount of time left to do. Are you? And if you're not, why? And if that why isn't so much more dramatically important.
Yeah.
And man, I think about what you're saying, right, with the mirroring behavior and all these type of things and what you think about your kids. I think about the mirroring behavior of dad settled. When what you showed was you went into this serious job that you felt compelled as a life of service.
Yeah.
Because, you're not talking about civilian work. You're talking about real fucking stuff. You're talking about service life. And you're not talking about this financial thing. You're talking about purpose. You're talking about effect. You're talking about leadership. You're talking about those type of things. Those are the characteristics.
I really think what
other than the 90 hours of work week.
That's
I understand lame, that's the sign that
I really think it's a natural progression from what I talked about earlier, of having agency in your own life. I think I'm just compelled to be in a position where I have more agency in the world, in my community, in my country, and in globally. What am I doing that impacts my family, my community, my country, in a way that I would want the world to be left.
Yeah.
With my life, the way Rob's life is over now. He did good things while he was alive. And I want to do more things like what Rob did. I want to impact people in my interactions with them on a daily basis when I meet them. I hope I don't take for granted that a small thing said in passing could be all a person needs to influence them positively in a way that their life would be better for it. Right. And I want to be a person that others looked at that provided an example of somebody that got to where they wanted to go through their own efforts and through their own will and strength of character.
Yeah. You don't work for either of your parents, right? You've done this. This is your world you've built. And that's yes. been the choice you've got, right? And that is essentially what you've told me from this whole story of what you're doing, right? Whether that's decided to walk away from the military for what you felt were the right reasons, that you changed from bodybuilding because you felt were the right reasons, like, yo, you're at the wheel.
Yeah.
And so if you're not fulfilled and you're not finding purpose and you're not having that itch scratched, you're choosing not to.
It's fair.
You're fucking aware, man.
Yeah.
And
That's
so that
fair.
you get both sides of it, right? That like if you're aware to do things or not do things for the big picture,
Yeah.
you have to be aware to go and do the other things too. And you know, I think you'll like it's back to chasing that uncomfortability of the unknown. Like what you're currently doing and what this path you're on is. It's not bad. But fuck good enough. It's not what I'm looking for. I don't want good enough. I want exceptional. And I'm willing to risk for exceptional. And I'm willing to learn whatever can come from the fuck ups that are at least trying to do exceptional. Like you can still, I mean, man, you're not trying to like build fucking rockets and be Elon Musk, right? Like,
I'm not trying to
you're talking
ride-
about trying to maybe get in the CIA or fucking do something like that,
they're
right?
Very,
Like,
very feasible goals. Very feasible goals. I'm not trying to ride a space stick up
no,
to.
no, yeah, one day. Like, fucking pray, man.
Not trying to
they
get
keep
rich.
getting better at this. We'll absolutely get
Not
to
trying
go.
to get rich and just ride space dicks all day.
Fuck, man. If I was rich, I'd have a space dig.
Who wouldn't?
I would
guess?
100. I'm not bad at that, dude. That guy
Would
started
you-
a business and his fucking garage has every bit of. If he's gonna have
He deserves it.
an
He gets
infinite
it.
amount of money, which he does,
Yeah, absolutely.
why wouldn't you build a rocket ship and fucking leave the planet?
It's the most. I mean, it just baffles me to think like that. That is. This is reality. Like,
Well,
this
it's
is-
a weird thing to me that that's a thing you can buy.
Yeah,
Like
no,
there
he's
isn't
just
some
like
other rule out there that like the U.S. is like.
NASA.
You-
Fuck all
you
that.
can't-
I'm gonna make my
Right.
own. And we're just
you
gonna,
just can't build a rocket and fly to space, dickhead.
No,
and they're
you
like,
can't.
"Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
You're totally allowed. The first time I ever realized like rules don't go as far as I thought they did was like probably getting to ride like in a friend's helicopter.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be
Because-
eye opening.
Well, because it was the scenario was we're in Montana with friends, and one of our other friends from Utah was there and had brought his helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had just gone to like got a call and was like, hey, do you want to go for a ride in the helicopter? We're like, fuck yeah. So we roll over to their Airbnb where the helicopter is just parked in the yard. Like in the fucking front yard. I mean, look, it's a big fucking front yard, but there is just a helicopter parked in the grass.
Yeah, not a whole lot of foliage.
And
no
then like
fog
we
on
showed
the
up
ground.
and 10 minutes later it was like, you guys ready? And then we got in a helicopter and left in the sky. There wasn't a bunch of like we had to call and prep anything.
No,
there wasn't
FAA,
like
you
a
didn't
bunch.
have
Dude, there
you'd
was
have to
so
clear this.
little communication about like
You'd have to clear
you're
with the
just
FAA.
allowed to go in the sky in this fucking spinning thing, fucking giant blade of death. Like the amount of like,
Makes
and
you
then
think.
like the realization of that to me was like, yo, we don't legislate against dangerous things.
No.
You're allowed to do dangerous things. And so
All the
then I
time.
started questioning laws to begin with of like, fuck are they protecting us from? Like, why is that illegal if it's not dangerous?
Just keeping poor people down, man. That's all it is.
There's a lot of things I don't understand then of like why why do we make that law, right? Like, because like weed's not illegal because it's dangerous.
No.
It's never been danger. Like we don't outlaw dangerous things. You can go fucking buy a motorcycle and jump out of airplanes and
Yes.
fucking rent airboats and fucking rent mopeds. You can get dead as shit just renting a moped, like those bird scooters.
If
Get
something
straight
if
wrecked.
something being unhealthy or dangerous was enough to make it illegal, then like being overweight, being fat would be
That's hard
a
work,
crime.
though.
Yeah,
That's hard work.
it's not hard work to not be fat.
I don't think it is. It is hard work.
Do you think so?
No, not anymore.
not now that you're not.
No, I don't. I don't think it is. I don't think it's hard work to not be fat. I mean, if it was hard work to not be fat, the majority of things would be fat. And the majority of things aren't fat. The only two things that are fat are humans and things we feed. That's
Good
it.
point. Yeah.
Nothing naturally is fat.
Yeah, at a certain point in nature, whenever
Nope.
an animal is satiated, they're just like, okay,
No.
I guess.
And also, like,
guess this is good.
You're not genetically fat. You can lose weight. You could be predisposed to gain weight easier, have a slower metabolism, any of these type of things, but that still just comes down to calories. It's still a math equation, which is why you love the training aspect, because it's not, it is just chasing facts.
For sure.
It is adapt, grow, nutrition, recovery. Same recipe goes in.
It's predictable.
And a very predictable thing comes out the back end.
Yeah, it's a comforting pillar of my life.
Now, the life you're talking about is not quite as predictable.
No, it's not. No.
Now, how does that concept make you think, or what do you and the wife talk about that with? Just it's a big wrench in the works, man.
Yeah, and she's been really supportive. You know,
Now, what does she do?
She is currently in school, so
Okay.
we're both in school. I'm going to school off of a like sort of a scholarship through the VA. So I'm getting a graduate degree finished. Should be done in March.
Nice. In what?
Cybersecurity. Ooh. Yeah, fancy words.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So I'm applying to a few agencies, and she's on board with going wherever
Dude,
that takes us. So it's kind of
you're
like,
already going down the road, man. I'm stoked for you.
Yeah, we have. We definitely have. We worked it out, and it's just been kind of like a slow and painful realization that, you know, I guess ultimately, like, what is it that I'm going to need at the end of my life that makes me satisfied with my career?
So that is an interesting.
Because-
What is it like overarching goal? What is the thing that would accomplish that for you? Because I know mine.
Yeah.
I want to spend as much time doing whatever the fuck I want to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Like mine is, and that's the simplest part. And what I really mean by that is I'm not spending time doing shit I don't want to.
Gotcha. That's tough, man. I think what I want from my career, because financially, you know, my family's pretty secure as is. I mean, I could I can make minimum wage, and
Sure.
my kids are fine.
Yeah.
From here on out, like through some of the fault of my own.
Either
like,
way,
through
man.
good just good
I mean,
financial practices and
but
planning
also-
early, but
You not making dumb fucking decisions.
correct.
So
yeah, that's true.
This is now you've given yourself some options. Don't
Yeah, the opportunity.
You've brought it up twice, and you fucking downplay it like it's some type of thing you didn't earn. Like there's a luckiness to it.
Yeah, I guess I don't mean to downplay it in that regard. You know, I do feel like I'm incredibly fortunate. And I don't want it to come off as like, you know, I didn't work to get where I'm going or where
but
I
man,
currently am.
there is a lot of awareness to, and I know that you have it, right? Like you talked about it immediately as a driving force, this awareness that you have of the gifts you were handed, the opportunities you were handed, those type of things. You know, in the same way that you're not mad at the physical gifts you got, like don't be mad at those either. You didn't pick them. And so like holding those accountable to a thing, like you're not leaning on those, right? Like you're not banking on those as the only way through or entitlement.
Yeah, that's true. I'm definitely not trying to come off as entitled or
No,
do that.
you don't at all.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is I think you have some shit because you came from a great background.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. I mean, the pedigree that I was afforded just from, you know, living where I lived and being around the community I was around, you know, having the parents. I mean, like, dude, I wouldn't have been able to do anything, you know, lifting related if I didn't have a gym membership, you know. So like, just, you know, having all those opportunities for sure was, you know,
right, but
a launching pad.
But I also think you could save yourself some fucking issues by you didn't pick those either.
Yeah.
Like, so like
Yeah.
It's
I
part
think
of the luck of the
control
draw, dude.
thing, maybe. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I get this, it's a kind of an issue, not an issue, but just hyper fixated on it because
Well, I mean, I assume you're
I
assume you're
more
pretty anti-nepotism.
I'm somewhat opposed to it.
Yeah, I could see that. And so like, yeah, I get it. But like some of those things you can't get away from. I mean, do you want to get rid of the fact that you were born in America or that you were born in the 90s or that you were born like any of that's better than 1800?
Without question.
So like
without question.
You've just got some hangups on things that like, you didn't pick either.
Yeah.
And so like,
I mean, the game settings aren't hard enough, Matt. That's what I want. I just wish the game was harder.
Fuck all that, man.
No,
I have no interest.
Yeah, that's not it. I
am definitely not a martyr for this existence.
I think I will be satisfied with a career that I'm, actively engaged in challenges that are consuming my time with problem solving and with a quantifiable objective outcome similar to lifting that I know, and not for fame or anything like that.
No, of course. Yeah. You're not trying to go back into the service world for fame.
No.
You're doing it wrong if you are.
Yeah. Just for for my own gratification and my own just that self gratification of knowing like this was something I
you left an
wanted.
impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You're about the ripples in the pond that are left in the same way that Rob's ripples affected you.
Yeah.
In the same way I've had people affect me that have now I amplified some of those messages that have gotten to you. This is your opportunity, right? And you ending up in some type of real leadership role where the skills and discipline and those things that you have can really lend to shaping other men and shaping other people. Like, yeah, man, that's where you should be.
Yeah, that's definitely where my heart is. That's where I want to be. I think that's where
I'm glad to hear you're already en route,
figured it
man.
out. I am. Yeah, I didn't want to like downplay the efforts that efforts had been made.
No, of course.
Previously that we are on a path that is, actively taking steps towards achieving that. So,
that's exciting.
Yeah, I had an interview a couple weeks.
Shit, man.
Yeah, it was weird, super weird because it was like a video interview, not like with a person.
Oh, you're in a very digital world now. I'm used to now having to talk to people that way.
We all are.
I fucking hate it.
It's unique.
I really don't like doing like podcasts that way. That's why I fucking have a studio.
No, in person's definitely I think preferred.
It's so much better.
For a lot of interpersonal communicating, I think it's probably
I would say all
most preferred method.
It has to be. And I think it's a weird shift that we don't. That we're moving away from it.
Yeah, I mean, just think about how many phone calls do you take a week versus how many text messages do you answer?
It's increased.
Really?
Yeah, like I've kind of out of choice.
Okay, so you're proactively trying to do that.
I'm proactively trying to talk
more
people.
than text. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know if talk more than text.
But
text is an efficiency.
Yes, it is convenient. I mean,
it's great, especially because I don't have to have your attention to get a message to you.
Right.
I can just send the message and then you can deal with it when you want. It doesn't work well vocally.
True.
But there is something lost in just a text-based society. Whereas I think things like nuance and context and empathy and being able to read someone's intent when they talk to you and those type of things are all gone.
I mean, just even the inflection in how you pronounce a word.
And because a sentence in text
change
and a sentence in
so
text
much.
just lives the way it does. It's a downloadable fucking sentence. And it doesn't have context, and it doesn't have that person's background, and it doesn't have the scars. It doesn't have any of those things, and it's judged differently. And if that's the route we keep going, it's going to be interesting.
Man, it's definitely the route we're going to keep going.
Well, look, I think everything's a pendulum swing.
You think we'll have a response?
I think something will. So, if I don't believe we blow ourselves up.
Okay.
So if that doesn't happen, that means we figure things out. So let's just use that path. Because if we blow ourselves up, then none of this fucking matters anyway.
True.
But this technology didn't exist. We didn't have this. Like, it's only fucking been around for 20 years. That's it. But we're so ingrained in it now, it feels like there's no other way. It's never existed. But also, we got to see the line. Like, and no different than people who saw when automobiles started. Like, yo, it's never going back.
The horse ain't coming back, guys.
No fucking way. It's never going back.
Yes.
And in the same way, the world has gotten really small. And it's accessible data-wise to anywhere and any place and any human immediately. But we've also got a lot more distanced from a local, real, live community.
Yes, we have. I think if you...
We've also gotten away from a certain accountability that comes from interpersonal communication.
I mean, just take, for instance, most people, I would say the majority of people, whether you live in a city or in a rural area right now, are going to make judgments about a certain tribe of people, like a different political party or members of their own party. They're going to subscribe a certain perspective to that tribe and have a belief about that tribe that could be changed dramatically just by interacting with and talking to somebody who they probably know personally. You know what I mean? Like a neighbor or a community member who would prove that viewpoint either totally wrong or at least partially wrong. Like,
at least partially wrong.
Like, hey, that is not at all what I believe or how I feel about that situation. You know, and
but we've
vice versa.
As a society with that pendulum swing, because we've gotten to this point where we're at, that like we don't want those challenging ideas, or a lot of people don't. And because of the online community, you can find so many people that agree with you and whatever your niche is, that it can feel that the whole world agrees with you and that anyone who doesn't is fucking crazy.
Yeah, your ideology doesn't get challenged. And
we're not supposed to agree. And that's one of the things that really frightens me about like the university system currently with, you know, safe spaces, and as much as it's gotten to these type of things to avoid conflict and avoid challenging issues and avoid things that make people uncomfortable, is it's setting some weird standard of nerfing the planet. And like, yo, you've got to be able to deal with people who disagree with you. You've got to be able to deal with people who think differently. You need to be able to hold a fucking conversation with someone who has different thoughts than you and be able to say, oh, I still really like them. We just feel differently.
Being disagreeable without, or being able to disagree without being disagreeable.
Yes.
Yeah. And
or deciding that because you don't agree with this, we can't talk.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's just going to come back to rhetorical skills, like people being able to present the points of their ideology. Yeah. Eloquently present, you know, how they feel about a certain situation or their perspective as, you know, and then defend those pillars of that ideology against whatever would be contrary to that, you know. And if you can't do that, then maybe you should reconsider some of those viewpoints.
It also gets really, really tough when people believe that their things, that their viewpoint aren't an idea, that they are a fucking fact, that they are built in and they are right. Not only right, they're just, they are fucking divine,
morally,
whatever.
Morally and ethically superior
right.
to
And
other
the
ideologies.
fact that you lean the other way says you're trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, what I'm hoping, right? Like with a lot of what's going on, like perhaps people will realize that the people that are outraged online with text aren't as outraged as they seem to be, because they're just trying to get a reaction. Like we'll actually understand what trolling culture is. We just haven't mastered it yet. We don't understand why people would be dicks just to be dicks. There's a lot of really weird things that humans do.
Yeah.
That don't add up to logic, right? Like one of those things would be people are going to choose to watch TV shows they enjoy. That seems logical.
Yes, it does.
Yet, we're aware that people will watch shit that outrages them far more.
Yeah, I mean,
and give more attention to shit that infuriates them.
Look at like there are multiple research studies done on Reddit, on Facebook, on Instagram, and usually it's Reddit and Facebook that show users spend more time looking at
things they disagree
with. And
but it's not in a way of looking for understanding.
No.
It's to build infuriation.
Yes.
It's to build outrage. It's to build this voice of importance.
They get more time on platform.
Well, how much more attention and through social media or any of those things, right? Like, I mean, as you're not a person who has to deal with it. I mean, how much more attention do people give to trolls, right? Like if you have 100 comments that are like, yeah, great work. And one's like, go fuck yourself. Like that's the guy you pay attention to.
Yeah. And that's the one that elicits the emotional response.
We've learned that if you want attention and you don't care whether it's good or bad, and if you just want to rattle and shake the boat, which is attention, that's what people want. People just want to be seen, and they've chosen that being a dick is still better than not being seen.
That's what gets people on app, and more people on app, more time on app is what gets more advertising.
More advertising. Like, right. It's trying to explain the social media thing as just a mirror to people that like all it does is show you what you want to interact more with.
Right.
That's it. Like it doesn't have an opinion. There's not really an agenda behind it, like the data collection, those type of things. Yeah. It's just helping it show you more of what you choose to look at and engage with more.
Yeah.
And if you choose to engage with shit that you dislike or that makes you mad,
you're going to get more of it.
People don't engage with shit that makes them happy.
They don't appreciate it. I think it's funny how it's that is a fact. Like that is AI driven or machine learning software driven algorithms that are feeding people back what they interact with more than anything.
That's it.
And it does so at the benefit of the app, so the app can make more money. But it's ironic, right? So, it's so funny to think about.
So with hopefully one of your new super jobs, are you going to be shutting down like Russian troll farms where they're making anti-mass posts?
Anti-vaccine stuff?
Or vaccine posts? I imagine they're doing both out of the exact same fucking room.
Yeah, you can tie back. There is an overwhelming majority of disinformation that gets propagated through social media, specifically YouTube, Facebook, and Reddit, directly back to Russian IP addresses,
of course,
and Chinese IP addresses. So,
dude, it's crazy, right? Because one of the ways that communism gets rolled in to a place is you control the media.
Right.
Well, you control the political parties, you divide the people, and then you control the media. This is the fucking method of instrumentation.
It doesn't take anybody, with a math degree to look at the numbers right now, and there are fewer, like 10 times fewer daily viewers of CNN than there are listeners of Joe Rogan's podcast.
Right.
So if you think about and that is technically social media. That is that is end user created content that is disseminated directly to other users versus an institution creating it. And
the interesting one about Joe, and I don't have a real fucking horse in the fight. I like his show and always have.
Mm-hmm.
I like his stance on a lot of things. Prior to being the Spotify deal, and honestly, I haven't noticed a big change in the show other than I don't like the ads of how they get rolled into it.
Yeah.
But whatever. Make money, son.
Got to.
I'm proud of you, Joe. He was a really big media force that reaches a lot of people that isn't owned by someone.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's really rare. We don't have that.
Well, you can say that now about almost all independent journalists, but
Right. But the problem is we don't have experts.
who are, you know, what is the, where is there there's no gatekeeper for what is somebody who, to discern, like what is going to make a discernible, legitimate, content creating independent journalist versus one that is illegitimate or one that is creating misinformation or propagating
So to
misinformation.
me, this is part of the growing pains at the beginning of the life cycle of this thing.
Okay.
Like we've only now. So in the same way, stores, we went from mom and pop local shit, then we went to big box everything.
Yeah. Malls.
Right.
Yeah.
But then we're also now getting back. Malls have died.
Yeah.
We're back to mom and pop, but we're also back to mom and pop that can work globally because of the internet.
Through Amazon. Yeah.
Well, not just Amazon, but Etsy or any of these other number of places, right? Like
Everything
I don't use
but the house.
just Shopify. I have a global audience and don't use either of those. So we're seeing mom and pops can come back and now fight again on the global scale, and they're beating the big box stores because people want specificity to what their needs are and can get them anywhere. You know, whereas before, like, you couldn't get shit in a small town. In the same way, news was this local news that was your area, and you had a couple minutes of your major thing every night.
And then the weather.
And now, and now that has changed to a 24 hours from the big box that's owned by someone.
Yep.
And we're seeing the switch back now to us, or not us, but independent journalists.
Yeah. Or more, trying to, like, more of a shift down to like the grassroots level versus top down.
Right.
Created.
And in the same way, in the early years of marketplaces or eBay, they're charlatans.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out how to weed the ones out of the next round of the way the sizing went. Like we downsized back to independent. You know, the pendulum has swung back that way again. And it's because we don't trust.
Don't trust the institutions.
Yeah, we don't trust the institution, which is why we left the mom and pop, because we didn't trust the quality of the goods they were making, that these guys had to be making better.
Yeah. Or that they were the big box was offering similar product at a lower price.
Yeah, of course.
Because, you know,
Because they can.
Yeah.
Because it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
The market corrects.
It does.
You know, that's the only thing to me that's ever honest, is we're getting whatever we're asking for.
Just like the algorithms.
That's it. And at some point, we have to decide we don't like this, and we have to stop watching it. And if we stop watching it, they stop making money. When they stop making money, they try to create content that we want. They have to, otherwise they die.
Yeah.
If we don't watch it, they don't exist. That's how you vote. Vote with your time, vote with your money.
Man, extremely valuable information right there. Yeah, you know, again, cannot reiterate enough how important it is to consider everything from the influences you allow in your life to how you're choosing to spend your time and who you're choosing to spend your time with. Think about, like, again, those 5-6 hours every weekend you were training with Gary, Frank, and the guys. Though, I mean, that is 5 hours of your life, 6 hours of your life.
That either that or I would have been at the bar with my buddies.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same deal. I would have been somewhere else.
Yeah. But
I chose that.
You chose that. You chose to spend it with the people that had a more positive influence on your
I chose to
life.
spend it with lunatics. I chose to spend it with people that were fixated on a thing.
Yeah.
That were obsessed.
Obsessed with powerlifting, but obsessed with progression.
Don't care.
Yeah.
That were just obsessed.
Yeah.
Whether that was kids that I met that were friends, that I was friends with kids who were in bands, or any of that, I've always hung out with people that are obsessed. That's what I'm attracted to. I'm not attracted to just going through the motions.
Yeah, complacency.
Like, dude,
no.
Man, I don't remember what day I'd gone for a bike ride or something like that, and one of the places I'll start my bike rides around here is over by a baseball field. And there's just families out there doing baseball weekend, shit like that. And it's a bunch of dads by the fence at the end of the thing with a small ice chest of beer, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember looking at that and I was just like, fuck that.
Not living for the weekends, boys.
No fucking way, dude.
No.
No fucking way am I giving someone 5 days and I get 2.
Yeah, that's a...
If you like what you're doing, that's not what it is.
Right. Yeah.
I just don't want to do anything I don't want to do. That's the kind of fucking... Yeah. Or if the shit that I don't want to do, I need to know I chose it.
Yeah.
Then I can handle it. Otherwise, I'm stuck playing into that rule I've already know with myself is I can't give a shit about things I don't care about.
That's being accountable. Yep. Being responsible, taking responsibility for your...
And not admitting that I'm different than that.
Yeah.
I know those flaws. How do I turn those into a useful thing? Speaking of usefulness, you want to make some muscles?
Let's go get huge.
Let's get fucking huge. All right. Where are we at, Brant?
3 hours, 10 minutes.
Fuck. There we go. That was a long one.
That was pretty long.
Brother, I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Yeah, dude.